Just drop that link in the chat. So if you guys want to join tonight's discussion, make sure you guys go ahead and click that link and get you a seat at the table. Y'all make sure y'all get them likes up. Get them likes up, family. Get them likes up. Go ahead and get your tickets. It's only 15 tickets left. 15. Click that link at the top of the description. Shout out to the sponsor, Teej Hanley. Guys, listen up. As you get older, the best way to continue to look young, exuberant, and vibrant is to continue to take care of your skin. That's why I'm excited to have Teej Hanley as a sponsor of today's video. You heard me talk about them before, and you're going to continue to hear me talk about them because I believe in their products and the positive impact that they have on every man's life. Teej Hanley makes taking care of your skin so easy. They provide you with all the products you need and nothing that you don't. Every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. Lapeef family, I must admit, skincare wasn't always something I always focused on, but since I started using this system, I've seen improvements in the way my skin looks and feels. And you don't have to take my word for it. They have over 5,000 five-star reviews on their website from satisfied customers from around the world. I recommend you start with the level 1 system, which comes with all the basics: a daily face wash, an exfoliating scrub, an AM moisturizer, and a PM moisturizer. In addition to amazing skin, members of Teej Hanley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off retail price, the ability to customize your box, pause or cancel at any time, and free US shipping. And because Teej Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers a great deal. Just click that first link in the description and you'll get 30% off the first box plus the free gift. Seriously, that's an amazing deal. Even though it's too early, as I often say, it's never too late. Click that link and get started today.
Hey, Jonathan.
Okay, how's it going?
Good. Glad to have you back here another time. What's going on?
Nothing much. Do you hear an echo?
No, but hold on. Hold on. Let me see if I can. It might be me. Okay. Can you hear echo now?
No, I can't.
Okay.
Good. Okay, we're good.
Okay, perfect. All right.
Good.
Oh, there you go. Hi, Kayla.
Hey guys, how are y'all doing?
Good.
Pretty good.
Excited for the show.
Me too, despite it was just a long day for me, but I'm really glad Jonathan's here because Jonathan always has some insight, so I'm super excited. For sure. So today is first of all, I hope everyone had a Easter weekend, a good Resurrection Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
He is not dead. So for all of my religious people, I really hope y'all had a great weekend, Passover this weekend. But yeah, so we're going to jump right into it. We have an interesting show for you guys today. So let's just have the conversation. So let's kind of with, I kind of want to talk a little bit about relationships and status, right? Because, some different things happened over the last week where it came to me when someone was trying to make a point, someone else felt the need to point out their relationship status. So I just want to kind of have the conversation like, does a relationship status determine a person's value or determine the value of what their input or their opinion? What do you guys think? Like, does a person's status determine their value?
Well, I think determine their inherent worth and value. No, humans are valuable because they're human beings, right? But when we talk about like marriage specifically, I do think it determines like the credibility of the person or the individual who's speaking, because a lot of times, like if you haven't been married before, a lot of what you may talk about, not you specifically, but you generally, it's sometimes just largely theoretical because you haven't experienced it. And so for me, like I've only been married, it'll be 3 years in September, right? And I can tell you, because it literally like just happened 2 years ago, over here in marriage land, it's completely different than what a lot of people think it is. Like what a lot of people dream about, what a lot of people say. It's just a completely different experience, in my opinion, than being single. It is. It's a completely different mindset, a way you have to navigate, see the world. It's just different. And I think a lot of folks that like have healthy relationships or healthy marriages understand that there's a difference relative to people that may not think there's a difference, and you can see that reflected in their marriage as well. So
yeah, I mean, I definitely think that people have value outside of their role in a relationship. But yeah, I do think I agree with what you said too about like, married people. I'm going to take what they say about marriage, a little bit more probably than people who aren't married. But that doesn't mean that people who aren't married can't give good advice. It's kind of like the whole like people with kids thing. Of course, being a parent is much different than being around kids or working with kids or whatever. But, a pediatrician or a child psychologist or someone who just spends a lot of time with kids, a teacher, a doctor, a nurse, whoever, can give good feedback or advice about kids. So I kind of equate it to that. Like parents have a different point of view, like the main point of view, I guess you could say, when it comes to like their own children. But I wouldn't like ignore the input of other people without kids. Same as I wouldn't ignore the input of people who aren't married, unless the input was just outlandish or
It's
outrageous.
funny. It's funny you say that, because like you do not have to have, like, to be a child therapist, you do not have to have children. Like, to be a teacher, you do not have to have children. To be any of these things that, you know, we see as a healthy space or as an informative space, those people have to have children. They just study children and study people with children. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think like that's a great example of how sometimes you don't have to necessarily be in that experience and able to provide insight. And I also think that when you are in the experience, sometimes you're too close to be able to provide non-biased, insight. Like if you have a kid and there's a situation, I mean, like emotionally feel for your child first, and then whatever that situation is second. Obviously parents I'm sure balance the two of that on a constant basis between like, that's my baby, and what's right, what's healthy for them, regardless of how I feel. So, there's that as well.
And I'm glad that you said that, because for me, like in my mind, when I think about like credibility, for example, for me, top of the chart is facts. I'm talking about certifiable, peer-reviewed, accepted fact. Then after that is experience, and then after that, I don't think there's anything else. Like it's one or the it's one or the other. And so, for example, like I like the example of like there's a fact that says that 2-parent households are generally better than 1-parent households when it comes to raising children. That's a fact. Now, somebody can get on and say, well, I was raised by a single mother and I turned out fine and we don't need fathers and blah, 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 blah. Well, that's great. That's your experience. But generally speaking, 2-parent households are better than 1-parent households.
Right.
Like, we're not going to argue that.
Right.
And so a lot of times I see a lot of people kind of like just saying stuff and with no sort of, like credibility or fact attached to it. And that's when I kind of draw the line with that. Even married couples, they might say things, this is how I treat my wife, and she needs to be at home cooking and cleaning and all this other stuff. Okay, well, let's test that. Let's look at that. Does that exist in other spaces? How does that operate? Is it generally like accepted? If not, in multiple modes of like being married are accepted, then we can talk about multiple modes. But we can't just sit there and say that this is the way and this is the only way to do something. I don't think that's true.
I like how you brought up facts being at the top. I think that sometimes people don't even realize that some of the things that they think about have been studied lots of times by lots of professionals in the fields. So then, like, if you say something, they're like, no, and you're like, yeah, actually, maybe not for you, but for a lot of people, there's data to support it. So yeah, I think just getting more familiar, or if people are just curious about a thing, just look it up, like Google whatever the thing is and Google peer reviewed with it and see what kind of sources you can find and make sure you vet them and look at who wrote them and, where are there any, is there any lobbying or anything like that that's going on in terms of these places you get your information from. I think that looking for good information, starting with what's factual, is very important. And people have studied almost anything you can think of. There is some kind of study on it. Not saying there aren't holes in research, that. But a lot of the things people argue about, a quick search could help clear some things up.
I also think that like they're the type of person and the culture and the just the society, the standards of a particular society has a lot to do with it as well. You know what I mean? If like someone in some random country is telling me how they do marriage or how they raise their kids, it's like, not random country, but I could even say like Austria or I don't know, Marrakesh. Like, I genuinely don't think that I can just say, oh, let's take that and run with that and do with that, because there are so many things that alter the experience. So even when you think about here in America and how people are so different, I know people doing all different types of things, and it's marriage. You know what I'm saying? From your bike riding, redneck, like there's so many different types of people that do all different types of things. So where we draw the line in terms of like what we should be pushing to our community and what we shouldn't, because people come from such different perspectives. Even earlier today, I was speaking in a space where, a lot of the people in that space grew up like in the streets, and their perception of like a lot of things, I was just like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't relate, I can't connect. So them telling me how they do marriage or how they raise their kids is just not gonna, when I'm a middle class, you know what I'm saying? It's not going to always translate. So I think that, sometimes people, want to help, but we have to realize that like there are so many variants.
What do y'all think about because the question about like value and relationships and whatever, what do y'all think about when people are dismissive of maybe someone who's single, just in terms of their opinion about it doesn't even have to be marriage or anything like that, just regular things like day-to-day behaviors, whatever it is, and then they're like, but you're not married, and it's just like, okay, what does that have to? So what do y'all think about that when people use marriage as some kind of like
It's weird
unit of measurement for a person?
It's weird.
Can you give me an
Also
example?
Yeah, give me another example. I'm just gonna say it's weird based off what
I want an example of that. Yeah.
So I forget what we were. Courtney asked Chaotic a question.
Yeah, she
He
asked
asked
him
her to see her ring.
if you've ever hunted before, because he was saying like men are hunters, and if the world came to an end, men would have to get out here and hunt. And so she asked him like, are you a hunter? Like, okay. He said, yeah. Like, so what hunting rifle do you do? And then it came down to her relationship status, and I'm trying to understand.
I
So
was
it's
trying to
like,
understand too.
but to me, that also tells me that that's like the biggest accomplishment that that person has. And I know it's a big accomplishment, but like, is it? Because like anybody can do it. Like, you just go down there to the courthouse, you just file a piece of paperwork, and they do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it that you have more than another person because you've done it?
And like in terms of examples, I'm just thinking of more and more. I've seen that a lot of times, like exclusively online. Like I've never seen this happen to anyone in real life. But when someone disagrees, they'll say, that's why you're not married, or you're not going to be married. You're going to buy a dog. Like, what? For an opinion that's different, I don't understand that. Jonathan, as a married man, what do you think about that use of, well, you're not married, or that's why you're not going to be married?
I think it depends on who it's coming from. So in the example used, to me, it was clear that person got defensive and decided to shoot a low blow, right? And and kind of deflect to get the attention off of the fact that he's not a hunter. He hasn't been. He goes to Walmart just like the rest of us. You know what I mean?
Ooh,
so that was the deflection. And so oftentimes I'll see that kind of deflection, or folks getting called out or backed into a corner, and then they hit you with the low blow or their personal attack, right? Other times, it can be valid. When somebody is just saying, well, no, married, this is what it means to be married, and you need to do this, and you need to always have a way out of the door, and all of these other things. And then it's like, have you ever been married? And then they say, well, no. It's like, so then what are you talking about? Like,
I can see it from that point of view. I can definitely see it from that, because, saying what married people need to, well, outside of just best practice, like basic things. Yeah, I can definitely see it from the point of view that you just gave. Kayla, have you seen that?
I think of that all the time when people quote Kevin Samuels and stuff. I'll be like, is he divorced twice? He tried twice. Couldn't do it. What's happening? I don't, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, There are certain topics where you have to have like the experience. There are certain ones. You can say, like, as a person, like for me as an unmarried person, I can say like my perception or what I would want or what I've envisioned or what I've been taught from my married parents or the married parents, around whatever. But when there's certain things to say, like how, you know what I mean? I can't say like blah, 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 because I've obviously not been married. So I think a lot of people also don't understand. Like, I feel like, I don't know, marriage is so serious to me. And I just don't think I can just do it to do it, because I've had multiple opportunities to be married. And it's just like, if it's not everything, do you want to be, you know what I mean? If the divorce rate is 1 in 5, so 1 in 3 or whatever it is. So I just feel like it's definitely not something you should just do to do. It's supposed to be safe to be forever. And if you don't feel that, I feel like a good deal of those 1 in 3 people know that before they get married. You know what I'm saying? They know that. They hear it, they feel it, but they still go along with it, because if you're from the South, this is what you're supposed to do. This is, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're from where I'm from, like, this is just what you're supposed to do. When you find someone that checks enough boxes, you need to just do it. So, I don't know. I just take it very serious though. And I feel like,
yeah, I think it's serious business. And I remember, like, before I got married, the pressure, especially, as like a coming from a Christian background, the pressure of, like, when you get to be this age, going ahead and get married, when just, it's always marriage. And then you get over here and you're like, we should have talked about some of the other stuff, because that's hard over here. Like, it's not easy at all. The work starts over here. I thought dating was hard. Then I got married and I'm like, yo, this, like, if you don't know what you're doing or you don't have help, like it's not an easy path. It's a very fulfilling path. You get it. You get way more out of it than what you put in my opinion, but it's still very difficult. And I think a lot of people don't necessarily understand like how difficult it actually is. If you knew, maybe you would think twice before, picking anybody to be with. Like, seriously, it's got to be the right person. It definitely does. And you have to have help.
What's the
rush? I think there was and I'll say this real quick, but I think there was a show where somebody said, like, you shouldn't be asking for help in like a marriage or a relationship. Like, you shouldn't be, seeking help from other individuals. And I was just like, that doesn't make sense.
Oh yeah,
like,
I remember
people
that
need to
show.
be in therapy. People need to find individuals that have what they want and seek mentorship. People need to read. People need to study. It's difficult over here, and you need all the help that you can get.
Yeah. I was just going to say, what is the rush? Especially like, when you're young. I'm like, just a few years ago, you was asking to go to the bathroom. Now you over here making major life decisions and stuff. I'm trying to understand why the rush is that, when, like, at that time, like under the age of 25, you're still trying to figure out who you are, your money, recovering from whatever mistakes you made at that 18 to 22 phase, and trying to get yourself together. And I feel like being in such a strong commitment with someone else, it's just a lot of pressure for both parties. I just feel like it's so much pressure. You're like anybody that's under 25, I'm like, you're like a kid. When I was 21, like, still a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are just trying to get your hands on this thing. And I don't know, it's like making a big life decision at that time the best decision. I mean, I know it works for some people. It's worked for a few people. But yeah.
So like, if I was listening to what you were, excuse me, saying, Jonathan, and talking about picking the right person, and it's a major step. You really got to think about it, use all your discernment, have help, all the things that you talked about. If that's the case, like, I don't know, if we're just looking at it from like a wouldn't that kind of determine a person's value if that's how you view it? Like if you view people who get married under the right circumstances as people who have this different level of, I don't know, discernment, or who are these very suitable partners, or are you, I don't know. Do you get what I'm asking?
No, because everybody, I mean, to me, it's like everybody has their own preferences and like ideas of who they want to be with. And like, I could, so for me, for example, I think there was this thing around like women having their own money or something like that. Like they have like a side bank account or something like that.
Yeah, a rainy day fund. A rainy day
every
fund.
woman has a rainy day fund, and you should just know you have a rainy day fund. Like to me, that's something I would get divorced over. Like that's not something that we're not going to do that like in my house. But some people, they're okay with that. Like,
interesting.
Why would you say that was
could be the more traditional route?
Yeah, why is that? Why is that?
Because to me, I think it's deceitful, honestly. Like, unless you don't have a conversation about that in the beginning, like, hey, I'm gonna have a rainy day fund. To me, it's if you're taking money out of the bank account and putting it aside for your own purposes, to me, it's just deceitful. And
what if they already have money?
Yeah, I was gonna say, because before you guys got married, y'all had separate bank accounts. Right. Y'all get married, y'all make a new bank account that has both of our names on it. Does that mean you close your own personal account you've had for 10 years? I don't think you should, on top of the fact that you developed the credit history with that creditor. I don't see why you would close it.
Jonathan said yes.
You should close it.
So once again, okay. So the money, say the money that was in that account, right? That she's been just saving for since she was 25 and she's 35 right now. Y'all getting married 35, whatever. Right. The money that she's been saving, that she's worked for all of her life over these years, right? Are you saying that you guys need to have a conversation about how this money is spent because you want her to put it in a mutual account where you can now spend out of? You saying, so you're saying that she's been saving money while she was single, and then we get married, and now we have this mutual account. Should she do what? Like she should have a discussion with me about how we're going to spend that money? You're telling her you want her to close the account and put the money into a joint account that you now have access to. So right. That's what I'm saying. Is there going to be a conversation? Are there going to be boundaries? Or this is just like you just start spending it because you feel like it's ours and I can spend it now? And No. So we have conversations. We have financial conversations. And so for me, and then once again, like to me, this goes back to preference because it goes back to values and ideology. In my mind, when I've always been raised that when you get married, you cease to become I, and you're now becoming we. Like, so you still are people with your own like ideas and goals and dreams, but now that you're married, you're one entity, and one entity in all things, financially. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of them. And so I had savings too. Like, we put our money in this account. Now this money ceases to become mine and yours. It becomes ours. And now that it is ours, we have conversations about how we're going to spend it. So we have a financial plan that we work. I know how much money I could spend every month or whatever on whatever I want to spend it on. She knows how much she could spend it on or whatever she wants to spend it on. If it goes over a certain amount, she says, hey, I'm thinking about buying this. What do you think? Well, we need to wait a week because we got to move this money here, here, and here. Okay, wait a week, she buys it. Or me, if it's over a certain amount, hey, look, I want to spend this money. I want to get a new PS5. It's $600 or whatever. Are we good? And we have that conversation. And so that's kind of how it goes in my house. Like there's no like separate funds anywhere. Now with the credit cards, that's a little different because your credit, you don't want your credit to drop. So you keep the credit card, but the money that goes into the account, it's in one account, direct deposits every month. They both go into there.
I have a question about this too, because when you said like, look, I would get divorced, like you just said that flat out. So like, I'm just more curious
about it being a secret though, okay.
But what are the
I wasn't talking about it being a secret.
But I think he was talking about, I saw something on Facebook about like rainy day funds. Is that what you were talking about, John? No,
that's what I was talking about, a rainy day fund.
Yeah, like I think I saw a post. It was like a tweet or something that somebody was sharing, and yeah, I think I saw that post. But so I'm really interested. Is it about the amount, or is it about that you didn't know about it? Like, let's say right now,
it's about the secret.
So if your wife had like, I know this is extreme, but like if your wife had like $200 in a drawer somewhere.
Extreme?
No, I'm saying extremely low, like petty.
Oh,
okay. Under the mattress, and
you know what I'm saying? Like, is it purely about the?
No, I also think it's about intent. So, like, if she says, "Oh, I just kept $200 in the mattress just in case," like, I'm not tripping. But if there's an account, and there's an account, and 10% every month goes into this account, and I don't know about the 10% that goes into the account and I say like, and I find out, okay, 3%. Let's say 3%.
Okay.
And I find out, okay, you had this account and 3% of the funds are going in this account. And I say, well, what are you doing with that? Well, I need a rainy day fund just in case this doesn't work out. Okay, then it's not going to work out.
Not.
Oh, is it that?
Okay.
Is it because of like, you're thinking that that's the intent, like saving? What if she's just saving it in case anything happens?
Okay.
Like, within the marriage, like, let's say, I don't know, something happens to your car and your wife's like, oh, I got this $1,000 over here. You're gonna be like, you have that $1,000. Let's get a divorce. or
like, whoa.
Or are you gonna be like, thank goodness you had that $1,000 over there, because now we can use it for, whatever.
You know what? I'll have to think about that.
You just said it so fast that I just have so many questions.
It was
because in my mind it's like in my mind it's the deceit around I have a foot out of the door. That's what it is.
I understand.
It's the foot out of the door.
Yeah, I definitely understand. Like, I think that when you go in, I don't think that that's the best mentality. Like, for me, not the best mentality. Like, this is gonna fail. So like, there can be other reasons for saving money, but I feel like if you're thinking in that way at first, maybe you'll be glad that you did at some point. But I think that that's like a mindset that, I don't know, doesn't really put you on the best path for success within the relationship. That's my opinion on that. So I get what you're saying. I just, the quickness that you said divorce, I was like,
you're right. Let me backtrack.
Like I said, I didn't mean it had to be a secret. It doesn't have to be a secret. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like once we all put all of what we've agreed to put into the family funds, which is going to be like 85% of the money, and then my 10% to the church or to my community service or whatever, and then what's that 5% left over that is just somewhere for when I want to do frivolous spending. You know what I'm saying? That I can do that. And when you want to do frivolous spending, that you can do that. But like, we're not going to take house funds to do things like that. We'll put a little money aside. It's like saving for like you wanting to get a new motorcycle, or you wanting, you know what I'm saying? And whatever little monies that you put in your 5%, then you need to just save up, and you need to figure out how you're going to get this motorcycle, but you're not buying it with the house funds. So that's kind of how I see it. Like, it's not a foot out the door. It's not secrets. It's just that I think it's important also as a married couple to have separate things. Just like, I know y'all hate when I talk about my friends, but a friend of mine that was going through some tax evasion stuff, and some assets got seized, and the assets that had her name on it got seized too. And the only assets she had were the ones that didn't have his name on it. So you never know. Things happen every day. Things happen to people. So I just feel like it's not like anything crazy. It's not like hundreds of thousands of dollars or anything. Maybe it's like $3,000 or $5,000 or something. Whatever you save from that year of you working 5% of, like, the whole pay yourself first thing. I after you've paid your insurances and you paid into your IUL and you paid into all of the things that are going to give you that compound interest for the family, just like whatever's left over.
Yeah,
For
I
like
think,
I think it's a conversation.
yeah. I mean, I think that something that people should do is financial. You should have financial responsibility within your relationship, and you both should come up with a plan that works for you both. And that just goes to show, like, some people, like you said, different people have different standards. Different people have different wants or needs or whatever within a relationship. Some people are cool with both people having completely separate accounts and they just pay bills. Some people have, his account, her account, and then their account. Some people have one account. And, I think it's just up to people to discuss what works best for them. But I definitely see your point about, like, secret foot out the door funds, because that just, that makes it seem like your head is not even in it from the beginning.
Yeah. It should never
but
be
like what Kayla said, though, like, even if anything did happen, God forbid, you would still have money that the other person knew about, and it wouldn't be like some secret thing in your relationship.
They can help you guys.
It would just be you both kind of making sure that you both have some money somewhere in case, not even anything with the relationship, but just anything in general happens. Yeah.
And I think I'm the only, maybe there's one other person in my friend group that has the same bank account with their wife. The other ones, it's kind of a combination. They each have their own accounts and they put money in there, like Kayla was talking about, or I think in one case, he pays for everything and the money she earns is her own, so they do that too.
I've seen it all kinds of ways.
It's all, you can do it all kind of ways as long as you have a conversation first.
Of course.
But let me backtrack.
Be honest.
Let me backtrack.
I feel
Say,
like
we won't get divorced. We'll just go to therapy.
What are you scared
Y'all
of?
have a conversation. Go to therapy.
Like, well, I'm divorcing you. Like, I seen that $500 that you put away.
Your wife is probably somewhere watching.
I know you put this money. I know you put this money away to go to Sephora and buy expensive makeup.
She's somewhere like, man, I got $10 in my glove compartment. I hope he doesn't find it.
That's so funny. That is so funny. But I think, as long as there's honesty and openness, I feel like each marriage, everybody can do what they think is best in their marriage. I think that is what will work for me. I genuinely want the best for my family and my situation. The question I also have is, how do you feel about inheritances? I know in the Black community, this isn't as big as it should be. I really wish it was. But how do you feel about, like, say, like, you were going to inherit, like, I don't know, $500,000 when your grandparent passed away, right? And they pass away. And then the money goes into an account that's between you and your 3 siblings. Do you think that you should, like, do you think your wife should be on that account? Like,
so I'm already married, and I have and somebody passes away and I get $150,000.
Huh?
Yeah.
So essentially,
well,
I'm
you're already married.
married,
and your grandparent passed away, and you inherit $150,000, and it goes into a bank account with you and your 2 siblings on there, and that's y'all inheritance for y'all to split or do whatever y'all plan to do with it, pay family debt, whatever. Do you think that your wife should have access to those funds?
Yeah. So when I have 2 brothers, right? So when my 2 brothers and I split that money and I get my cut, it's not I'm getting my cut, it's we get our cut, and it's her money too. Mm-hmm. The same with her. She hits it big, Somebody's going right in that account,
I don't know about that. I don't know.
It's going right in that account. Oh no.
I just don't know.
What do you think, Kayla?
I just think that whatever that is between me and my I have 2 brothers. So whatever it is between me and my 2 brothers, well, one is a half brother. So I have like 2 sets of multiple. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I just feel like the family stuff should kind of stay family stuff. I'm not going to say because I've seen trauma, but because I've seen trauma. And I just think that family stuff should stay family stuff.
But once you're married, that's y'all are family.
Of course we're family, but I believe that the decisions with that money is between me and my brother, not me, my brother, and my husband and his wife. No, this was our mother, and we're going to decide, just you and I, about the decisions about this money. If he felt like, oh, he was bringing his wife to the table to make decisions about it, I would just be like, what? Like, this is not we're not doing a vote. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Our mother left this to us. And so we'll decide how we split it up or what we do with it. You know what I mean? We'll decide, like, if we're going to sell our mom's house or what we're going to do. I don't know. I just feel like your sibling, someone that you grew up with, you live with, when it comes to like your parents and like decisions about your parents. I mean, I don't know. I think it should be between the siblings, like what should happen to your parents, what should happen to what they leave you. And then, like you said, once you get your cut, if that's how it ends up, that's not how we're doing ours. Ours is going to be invested. Like, it's going to be, we're having to manage it together. But like, if we were to, split it up and cut it up, and you obviously, you know what I mean? Once I get my cut, it's ours. Like, in terms of the decisions, I would obviously love my husband's advice, especially if he's in any kind of that has to do with whatever we're doing. But like, I don't know. I just feel like that those decisions, they're not going to turn around and be my husband's decisions. What goes on with my family property. You know what I'm saying? I love his advice, like I said, but like, ultimately I'm going to do the best decision because I've been here all my life and I love him. But you don't, there's minutia you'll never know because you didn't grow up with us. You know what I mean? You don't know what's going on here. So yeah.
Yeah,
These are definitely conversations that people should have early in their marriage or before they get married. Because like, even just hearing both of you all's perspective, people can have drastically different thoughts about this, and it can cause a lot of problems if you find out in the heat of whatever's going on. Jonathan, I know you were about to say something.
No, I was just going to say, like, I think, before the split, I actually agree with you. Like, for example, it's not about money, but with like health issues. And so, if someone on my wife's side of the family, her mom or sisters or something, they have a health issue that she has to handle, what I normally do is I kind of let her handle it, and I'm there just in case she asks me for advice.
Right.
But I don't give advice if nobody asks me for it. Right. And I have a thing, because we have a conversation, and it's just like, don't include me and then give me like parameters on how you want me to be included. If you're going to include me, that means I'm going to be in here.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to do that, just leave me out of it.
That's where it gets
right.
sticky.
And I'll be here with the car. I'm gonna drive you to the hospital. The car will be warm when y'all have them arguments and you wouldn't go. Like, it will be warm for you so we could go. Like, I'm gonna help support you. But if you want me to do something, it's gonna be my way. That's how that's gonna go. So, that's kind of the way that we do that. Unless you specifically ask me, I need you to do that. This is what's going on. This is what I need you to do. Like, okay, and it's the similar for like kind of like my side of the family a little bit. She'll talk to me, but she's not gonna go around me and try to talk to, family members or things like that about what they need to be doing. That that doesn't work.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's that there needs to be boundaries sometimes, but I think this has been good. I think that a lot of I think that these are things that people need to talk about, because when you're young, you don't really think about this, right? Until you start thinking about mortality and you start, transitioning to that next age range. And I don't know, my parents are getting older and parents are getting older, and these are major decisions that are going to have to be made sooner than later in terms of your family money, family health. and all different types of things. So definitely have these conversations with your spouse early, because if people have like opposing views, or they're like totally against like what you feel is best for your parent or whatever, you know, then that's a conversation y'all need to have before. So yeah, I'm glad we talked about that. That was great. But kind of moving on to our next subject, kind of want to talk about compatibility in these relationships, right? So there was also something that happened on Thursday that was kind of disturbing to me, but like, I just kind of want to address it. So I'm going to play a clip, right, of the exact part of it that really confused me. And it's something that I've heard before. You know what I'm saying? I've heard it before. So I just kind of want to, especially Jonathan, I definitely want to get your opinion on this. So I'm going to play the clip and then talk a little bit after that. So, JR, are we clip ready? Are we clip ready, JR? I don't know if we are. Are we clip ready? Hopefully. I got a thumbs up. Did I get a thumbs up?
I don't know. Wait.
No. Where did he go?
He said that it was did you see what he put in the back?
No.
While we're waiting, another question, Jonathan, about this. No, I'm just playing. I'm not going to ask you about that divorce thing again.
That was
funny.
Just edit that out.
Yeah, I know. I know, right?
Video. That's not it. Oh, here it is. Ready?
I'm gonna be really quick, Lapeef. Again, ladies, if you are between the ages of 18 and 22, you have to realize this: a 30-year-old woman with an attitude that has lip is a recipe for disaster. And women like this are going to be cat ladies when they're 40, 50, and 60. No man in his right mind could put up with something. They're
gonna be cat ladies.
Hold on, time out, ladies. Hold on. Wait. Chaotic. How old are you?
Ma'am, I am 37 years old.
And you're targeting women between 18 and 22.
No,
That's really predatory.
He has all the answers. Okay. Well, there is the clip. Right. So we're going to get into a little bit of conversation about compatibility when it comes to interesting topic, age. Right. As you saw, apparently I'm in competition with women that are 18 to 22. So I want to know, you guys, does age affect romantic compatibility among adults? Because I know for a fact I'm not in competition with any women that are ages 18 to 22 as a 30-year-old woman. Any man that wants someone 18 to 22, like I said, women in their late 30s, early 40s. Any man that's late 30s, early 40s that wants an 18-year-old, I don't want him. So like I said, I'm not in any kind of competition with any women that he would be seeking out, because I believe that there is a certain level of compatibility when it comes to adult relationships. Obviously, there's maturity, there's things that you can relate on. But as someone that's pushing 40, is 18 to 22 the age that we're targeting? Like, are those the most compatible women for 40-year-old men? So what do you guys think? Does age affect romantic compatibility?
Well, let me ask you this before you, would you consider a younger man?
Probably not.
Why?
I want someone that's mature. And I mean, we all know how the maturity thing works with men, with boys and girls, and men and women. And then I really want someone that I can like revere and like that can really teach me something and instill things in me, and that can show me things that you can only have per life experience. Those are things I really respect. So I can't know more than you and think it'll work.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It won't work. I need you to know more than me. So probably not. I like that 38 to 45 range. I think that is like pretty good, or 36 to 46. I think that's pretty good. But again, if there are 36-year-olds wanting 18-year-olds, I don't want them, because what's going on with you? What are you talking to 18-year-old about? I just want to know. Like, I'm maybe y'all can be compatible. Maybe I'm wrong. But what are y'all talking about?
Because for me, like when I hear that, outside of the nonsense, like when I hear that, and it might not be like 18 to 22, it might be 25, it might be a little bit younger than that. But oftentimes, like it's not necessarily the age, but more along the lines of like how we perceive like that individual's temperament to be. Like, you know, because I was teaching when I was 26 years old. So, you know, there's people different. It didn't matter about age, right? But and so a lot of times, you know, like generally speaking, I don't even want to say it, but sometimes like younger women, they don't have as much like baggage as a lot of women who are a little bit older do. They haven't experienced the world as much. And guys like when you go out or you go to different places, that women who are like excited to be there because it's a new experience. Not one that like, I always go here. This is where I go on Tuesdays, you know, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. I got my own money. Like, what are you like? Nobody's interested in that. You know what I mean? And so there's certain things that you get like with individuals who like are a little bit more on the younger side than you will get with somebody who is older than that. At the same time, to me, in my mind, like there's trade-offs as well, because you have to take care of like a younger woman a lot more than you would somebody who's a little bit more established. You know, some women who are a little bit older are more mature, like you said. So there's just certain things that you don't necessarily have to do as a man that you would if it was a younger woman. So to me, like that's kind of what I hear, not necessarily the age, but just like what comes along with that, or what we perceive to come along with that.
I think that's interesting. I think that there are certain men that think they want that until that old. They think that they want that somebody that doesn't know anything, that can't really help them, that like is like another one of the kids. They think they want that until like a few years in, and they're like, I mean, do you have an opinion? Or like, you know, there are certain like patriarchal men that don't care because they don't want to talk to women anyway, right? They don't care about your opinion. They don't want to talk to women. So it doesn't matter whether there's good conversation, whether we can relate on things. That doesn't matter for certain men. They just want you to look good and like just be here and like whatever. But I think most men want to be mentally stimulated. Most men want to be challenged. Most want to like have that moment where you're like working together like partners and we accomplish something together and we're like cool, versus like I did everything and you were just here, and you know we get to the end after I worked so hard and you're like, that was easy, you didn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? Like I think a lot of men think that they want that when they're like under the age of 40 but more mature men want, because I believe that like more mature men also see the value of the women. Where like when you're younger men want to hang out with their boys all the time. They want to hang out with other men, right? Or just per my observation. Older men, they want to be with their woman or they want to be with women. So if you can't talk to women, if you can't have stimulated conversation and grow and work with the woman, I don't know. This is just what I'm hearing. I'm on Clubhouse daily. I'm hearing different things. They like, what bring to the table other than looking pretty and cleaning and cooking? Literally anybody can do that. Anybody can do that. These are skills you can learn on the internet. But what else? When you start opening your mouth, what else do you have, you know, going on? So I don't know. What do you guys think? That's just what I think.
I think that there are, you know, people that are in their early 20s, you know, who are very mature and, you know, can have lots of conversations, who are very well-rounded and, you know, things like that.
Agreed.
my thing is though, like if you're, let's say in your 40s, and Kayla, like you said, like if somebody is dating, if they're in their 40s and they're trying to date women that are like 18 to 20, 22, I do wonder, I do wonder what, what is the basis? Is the basis of the relationship like, yes, I want this woman who looks this way and is this age and is moldable? Because, maybe they, like Jonathan was saying, haven't been through certain things or don't have like their ways completely set since they're so young. Like, is that the intention? And I know it's different for everybody, but is that the intention? Or are these older men finding like 18, 19-year-olds that they have so much in common with? And because that's where I would be confused. Like, wait a minute, what does a 50-year-old man have in common with the 18-year-old of today? Like, these aren't 18-year-olds or 20-year-olds or 22-year-olds of 1981. These are the one like of TikTok and just like all these different things. And I think women are changing a lot. And I think younger women are a lot different. Like younger women now are a lot different than younger women of the past. More independent, kind of like, I'm not about to put up with that type of thing. So I always just wonder, like, what is it? What is it? Does it feel like a challenge? Do you feel like you won something if you get with, I don't know.
They also don't have to deal with that. I'm not dealing with this, blah, blah, blah. Because when you're young, you don't know. That's the time that you go through the BS and you be listening to what men be saying. He said, blah, 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 blah. We've all been there. We've all been there. We've all done that young, stupid stuff that like, because you just didn't know and you were so in love with him and you let him manipulate you into doing all types of things. I mean, that's the age that it happens. It seldom happens to like older women unless they have like insecurities, issues going on with them. But like, I don't know, when you're young, you're more malleable because you don't know anything.
But that's only if a man is a manipulator, though.
Right.
So, for example, like,
if you're specifically seeking out people that young because they're so malleable, wouldn't that be because you want to like
manipulate them?
I don't think it's like
you manipulate clay
to me, moldable and malleable doesn't mean like I'm doing the molding and the and that. And to me, it means like
just saying like in life they just haven't.
It's like a clean slate. It's like you literally have a clean slate, and all of the experience she's getting is experience with me. So there's none of this like I was hurt in the past and I lived with him for 15 years and we didn't do this, so I'm not doing that. There's none of that. Like, it's literally like all your experiences are with me, and I'm a good person, right? So you're gonna have good experiences. I'll give you an example.
But wait a minute. If you're 40,
there's tons of good men. That's where they're good people doing all kinds of stuff.
What about hold on, Jonathan? Now we have to be fair.
Can I give you
baggage?
What'd you say?
If the man is 40 something, if 40-year-old women allegedly have this baggage, wouldn't 40-year-old men allegedly also have baggage? A bunch of failed relationships, all types of stuff that happened, and now they're going to bring this to this young girl who just
Now it's in my opinion, I think it's harder when you both have baggage than when only one of you does. That's just me.
Oh, so you're saying, wait a minute. No, Jonathan. So you're like, look, if one person is going to have baggage, it's going to be the man. So therefore, you're going to get this young, naive.
Well, because men tend to date younger women. If a woman who was 50 was trying to be with a man, I guess, and he was 18, 19, 20, he might not have as much baggage as a 40, 45-year-old man. So in that situation, that doesn't usually happen. To me, it's
always the woman that got to put up with the baggage. It's always the woman that got to figure out how to mesh with
you. He said, if somebody's going to have baggage.
God,
come on, I don't, to me, it's she's going to have to deal with some of that. But if we're talking about a person of quality, this person also goes to therapy. So 80% of his stuff is he's dealing with a professional. You know what I mean? He might be reading, might be learning. So there's a lot of introspection going on, but I'll give you a quick example. My mom, she got married and she was in her early 20s. You know, my dad, he was also in his early 20s, but my dad was the first person my mom was ever with sexually, you know, and as in terms of like just a relationship or a boyfriend. You talk to her today and you would be like, wow, this seems like the most innocent person. Like she doesn't even, she can't
And you
see
said they
like
were both
people
young,
being
right?
sinister to her because she's never experienced that. Like when she looks at and she responds to and talks to men, it's just a completely different thing because number one, nobody was bashing men in her house. And number two, the only experiences she has with a man is with my dad. And he treated her like a queen. And so it's just, to me, it's just a different thing. Like, and so for a man,
But men
who's
were different then.
doing what he's supposed to do.
Men were different then. They were different.
Maybe so.
Well, you know,
but
they
you're
were
still
both
talking
in their
about a
early
50-year-old man with an 18-year-old. A 50-year-old man today, he was born in what, the 70s?
Yeah.
You know, so it's still comparable. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I think when both people are young, like maybe if you meet in college or shortly after or something like that, you can kind of grow together and, you know, whatever. I know that people have different levels of maturity and different capabilities for navigating conversations and whatnot. But just the whole seeking out like very, very young women, just now, if you just happen to find one that you like, I think, you know, whatever, it's fine if you get with this 21-year-old and you're 48 or whatever. But like, whenever people say, like, if they're like that much older and it's like their goal to find like an 18 to 22-year-old, it just seems strange.
But what do you think that she really wants with a 50-year-old? Because
I was gonna ask that.
You're not laying the pipe like people like boys that are her age that are 20. You're not at 50, you're not. And your body, I mean, let's be real. What are the 50-year-olds looking like? Okay. So what do you think that she's there for? You think she's there because she is so into you? Like, be for real. Like, what do you think that she's there for?
So you don't think women want men that are that much older than them?
No, I said most women want somebody within a 10-year age grading.
Okay.
Above that, it has something to do with daddy issues, money, security, or something like that. But for the most part, when it comes to like genuine connection, genuine attraction, I think most women, you know, like men that are within some kind of 10-year age range of where their age is. So if I'm 25, I mean, at most 35, you know what I mean? Like, that's just what I think. It could be whatever, but this is just per my observation that, you know, most women like a man that's a few years older. Now, as old as my father, I mean, it happens, but like, it would have to be some kind of specialized situation because most of the men my dad are like, I don't know. It's giving me dad vibes.
So you wouldn't be grossed out if a 50-year-old man was interested in a 40-year-old woman?
No.
35.
No.
30.
That would be.
I wouldn't. 50 and 30.
I mean, it depends if they come from some type of, it would have to be like everything else was compatible. You know what I mean? Okay. Like they come from the same life, they like the same things and blah, 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 and everything else made sense. But if he was like a regular 50-year-old that's on what 50-year-olds are on, I'm not talking about the young ones, the ones that are still outside hanging out. They be in the club. You just don't. They be in the club. No, they be at the club, but you don't know because they look young. They keep themselves up. They're very fit. They play basketball with the boys, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like you would know they're 50 because they look great or whatever. I'm talking about, y'all know the 50-year-olds I'm talking about. I'm talking about them 50-year-olds. They, a 30-year-old girl, 25-year-old girl is like, he better have some money because I'm sure there's gray down there. He better have something going on, some type of benefit for me.
I'm so confused.
I'm just saying, I'm thinking about what a 25-year-old would think when he did his thing. Like, wow. Because like for me, I don't know. I didn't even, the whole gray hair things. I don't know. It's just weird. When I was younger, it was weird. I mean, I'm older now. It's like I have a few, so it's cool. But like, I don't know. When I was younger, it was weird. It made me feel like that person was like one of my dad's friends. I don't know.
So you dated. So when you were 25, 22, 23, did you date men?
No, not that young.
40, 50?
When I was 26.
Okay.
When I was 26, I dated someone that was 49. Yeah.
So then why did you date?
He also was like used to be a professional basketball player, like I said, and he was very fit and young.
Jonathan
and
said, "Oh, okay."
I met him out, he was one of those unicorns. But I did not know he was that old. I swore he was only probably like 40. That's how he looked.
Okay.
He was fine. He had a body, like he was in shape. Like I said, specialized situations. But the average 49-year-old man or 55-year-old man is like, I mean, y'all be for real. Come on. They do not, like, they all don't look like, who's that age?
What, 50?
So check it out then.
A sexy 50 versus like a non-sexy 50.
So let's just say I'm an average. Well, let's just say I guess, what did you say? Like above average 50-year-old man, fit, attractive, whatever. Why would I want an average 40-year-old woman? Because like to me,
that's 10 years younger
than you. The average 50-year-old man and the average 50-year-old woman look the same. Like
I don't know. I mean, I would think if you're 50 that you would want someone. If I was a 50-year-old man, I would probably want a woman that was like 40, 45.
Really?
You said if I were a 50-year-old.
Nah, you wouldn't.
Wait, what?
Listen. I'm a talker, and I like to converse. We have to be able to have stimulating conversation together. So I just cannot see me being 50 talking to the 25-year-olds of today. I'm 30, and the 25-year-olds of today, I'd be like, we close, but we really not. They're not millennials. People that are millennials are people that are 27 and older currently. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, the question, does age affect romantic compatibility among adults? I think that people can be very compatible, like with big age gaps. Like you can be 26 and 50 and have a really great, marriage or a relationship that both of you are very satisfied with. Like I keep saying, the only issue, I don't have any issue with age gaps. You just find the person that works for you. I mean, who knows what somebody else wants, whatever. You might be really into the same types of things, the same whatever. Fine, do it. Like, it doesn't matter. The only time I think that it's an issue is when people are like out to like really concentrating on the just made it to legal age women. Like,
yeah,
I was just reading something about one of my friends posted that Bad Baby, that meet me out, catch me outside girl.
Oh gosh.
You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So someone was saying that she just bought like a $6 million mansion cash.
Wow.
And I know that like as soon as she turned 18, she got an OnlyFans and made like millions, like right away from her OnlyFans. And it's like people were literally waiting by the clock for her to turn legal. Like, I just think that I don't know. Y'all don't think that's kind of
It is.
strange?
It's a little creepy. It's a little bit creepy, but there's also like, I'm not going to use any terms, but there's also an underlying issue with that in this country when it comes to like those little creepy situations. And I really think people brush them under the rug. When Trump was president, they was coming out the woodworks. You see, they subsided since Democrats came back. But I really genuinely think that this is an issue all over the world when it comes to inappropriate things with children. So I'm not surprised her OnlyFans went up. And I guarantee you half the people on that OnlyFans were like old enough to be her father. I promise you they were.
Well, what do you think about Jay-Z and Beyonce then?
They're only like 13 years apart.
I thought you said 10 was max.
It's Jay-Z. This is Jay-Z. See, people want to try to act like they Jay-Z. Like they want to compare like regular Tom that works at the post office with Jay-Z.
And 20, like if somebody's 20 and somebody's 33, I don't think that's but like if you're
But he waited for her until
He
she
waited.
turned.
He waited.
Right?
He was also very young as well. I mean, like I said, they had so many things in common. They were in the same space, same mindset, going through the same things and being in the industry. They had so many things in common. And when did they just start dating? Until she was what, 22 or something? So she was still legal, like, but she was just young as hell. And he wanted to wait until she was not so young as hell. So that's why I think he waited till she was 22 for them to like get together. But I don't know exactly. But I like I said, that there are specialized situations where there's so much in common that the people are truly compatible. But we all can know, and nobody can lie anywhere in the chat, nowhere, and say that like some of these situations aren't creepy and weird, and that some of these men do target younger men for manipulation, and no women their age. I mean, women their age can see through their bullshit like that. Whereas like somebody that's young, that hasn't been here before, that doesn't know, they are, and I just feel like young ladies, like, you deserve your own. You know what I'm saying? Like, you deserve your own man, and to have a family. Half of Black men out here don't have kids. You do not need to procreate with somebody that already has 3 with 3. Like, I don't see it. I don't know.
She's not interested in him.
You want to dedicate it to you and your family, and it's just y'all and y'all children. And he I don't know. As someone that's young, I just feel like, ladies, like, get your own. You don't need to get a man that you're his third wife and he has 2 wives and a baby mama. And because women need to take on men's baggage. No, you do not. Okay, you do not. There are plenty of men your age. Give those men your age some time to get it together, and you can have your own family with a man. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean,
majority of Black men don't have kids. It's a small group of us that have kids. Let's procreate with some of these other men, please. Like, come on.
Yeah. What percentage of the time do you think that men who are, let's say, like, I don't know why we keep using 50, but older men who are interested in younger women are doing it for like sinister reasons? Like, what percent would you say if you were to put it?
Sinister reasons? What does that mean? Like, sinister?
Like to manipulate.
To manipulate, like, because it's a fetish, something like that.
I probably would say it's like 60.
I think she said 60-40. Wait, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, y'all hear me?
Oh, yeah. You froze for a second, but you're back.
Yeah, I would probably say like 60-40 or 50-50. It's like at least half. Half of them are after, they want that young tail that's easy, that they already have practiced these lies for the past 10 years. They know which ones work and which ones probably will work. And, I genuinely think that majority of them, feel like with younger women, they'll be able to impress a little bit more, because younger women don't really have a whole lot going on. And, more do this day and age than any time in history. But like most women 18 and 22 are like in college, like, working a job, going to school, doing, you know what I'm saying? So like a man that's making $60K, she is just like, this dude, he put money in my account. He filled up my fridge. What if you're 50, a woman that's 40, you're going to need a lot more than that to impress.
I think they're impressed with different things.
Need food. She has food.
Yeah, different people are definitely impressed.
Yeah, I think women who are a little bit older are impressed with different things. So like in my experience, women who are a little bit older, they might not necessarily be impressed with where you can take them, but more along the lines of like, he's consistent. He when he says something, he goes and does it. I like the way that he, articulates himself and just certain things like that.
Yeah.
Might not necessarily be about like what he can do for you.
And character things as well. You care about character things more as you get older. You care about honesty. You care about someone, keeping it real with you. You care about being able to work together in partnership on different things. You know what I mean? You definitely care about different things. So that's a good point.
What do you, so like while we're talking about this, and I'm looking at some of the comments, and we've had these types of conversations on the shows before. I see a lot of people often talk about like women, getting older and baggage or the wall or whatever we've talked about on Thursdays. And is there an age where like people start to wonder why a man is still single if he wants a relationship? Like some people want to be single. Some men, some women, every gender wants to be single. But some people, lots of people want to be in a relationship. So like if a woman wants to be in a relationship and she's still single at 45, people will all, start, not all, but you know what I mean? People will start talking about must be this, must be that. Da, 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 da. But when it's a man, do you all think that same thing exists? Is there an age where you're like, wait a minute, this man wants to be married and he's now 55? Like what's going on? Like, Is it the same? Do you have that thought process?
It depends on what he has. It depends on the kind of man. That's what I think.
What do you mean?
It depends on like the quality of the man. Like, what does his finances look like? Does he own does he own something?
But Jonathan, like, think about
it. If you're that age, they're gonna be like, why aren't you? What's going on?
But
if you don't have anything, nobody's looking at like, why aren't you married and you're still on the couch? You know what I mean? Like they're not.
Well, it makes sense why you're not married, because you can't support yourself. So no, you can't support a family.
Right.
That would make sense to me why you're not married if you're on your mom's couch at 50, which there are a lot of men. I actually, in my building, there's a guy that lives downstairs that yeah. Anyway.
Don't put that man on blast, Kayla.
All on blast.
Your downstairs person is watching like
I don't care. I don't care. He already know what we got in this house over here if you want to try it. Like I don't care. He'll be okay.
No, but I think
why are you there? You are like 40 something. Why are you there? Why are you there? Why are you still living with your moms?
Oh my goodness, are you talking directly to that? What? Leave that man alone, Kayla.
Okay, I'll leave him alone. I just wanted to.
We don't know what is going on with him. So, Jonathan, you were saying like, all right, you would start to wonder depending what he has, but would you start to think that there were character flaws that he had? Like, would you be like, he must be, difficult, or he must be this or that, the way that people do to women when they're 45 or whatever age?
So in my experience with like hearing women talk about older men who are not married that have things, the number one thing is he must be gay. Is he gay? He's 45 years old. He's got this. He's got that. Why isn't he married? They used to talk about Tavis Smiley. They used to ask that a lot about Tavis Smiley because he was like in his 40s and he was a millionaire. He wasn't married. People were like, he must be, maybe maybe this is just the folks that I was looking at.
He's very spiritual.
I don't know.
He's like very spiritual. I don't know anything about that.
Even in church settings, like certain men, once you get to be a certain age, hey, you're thinking about, or your mom, they'll come to you. I need some grandkids. Like, what's going on? So they'll ask the questions. Do I think it's like as much of a stigma as it is for men as it is for women? No.
Yeah.
But we do get asked.
Maybe from their mothers, though, because you're right, Jonathan. I've heard that, though, from quite a few dudes that, like, I've talked to over the years who's like, yeah, my mama's been asking about kids. And there was someone that was even pursuing me really hard because of the pressure. And he's just like, I'm 43 now. Like, I think you would be a great wife. Let's just do this thing. And I'm just like, what? Is that how y'all do this? Is that how y'all make these decisions? Because, like, there are a few things that we have issues and you don't even think about we should work these out. Like you just think because I look great and I come from great family that like I will make nice kids. Like what is the thought process?
Yeah, Kayla, you bring up an interesting point because as women, we have had men approach us, and I will definitely say that like plenty of older men are just straight up like looking for a wife like based on how you look and things like that, like which as Jonathan said earlier, choosing a spouse is a very big decision.
No game.
And a lot needs to go into that. I just think it's interesting that women always catch the heat for not being married, or oh, now that you're older, you're desperate. Like, that thought process that some people have about older women, or like, there must be something wrong with her. Like, there's that. I hear that a lot in these online spaces in regards to women, but I hardly ever hear it about men. So I was just trying to see what y'all thought about that.
Yeah, I think that also has to do with, it's I think it's there's not that much parameters around age when it comes to like men. With women, men are we like youth. We
Are you talking about in terms of like
why? Oh, okay, sorry.
Like are you saying like in terms of reproduction and things like that?
No, I'm just saying like
when
generally.
you say parameters, what do you mean?
So like women typically, like if you're a man, pretty much at any point in your life, as long as you have some things, you can go ahead and find somebody to settle down with you and get married. You can.
I'm telling you can. That's why
9 times out of 10, it'll be the person you want.
Kayla, I'm like, there are so many people that are like want to just do it to do it because they want to do it. Like, there's the opportunity out there for every single woman I feel like has been on this show, on Let's Talk, on any of the panels. There's been that opportunity there because there are people that want to do it because they feel like all you need to have is check, and then that's it. But
and then
some of us want like love.
And then we haven't been socialized around like this, like soulmate, Disney, as much as like a lot of women have. So we don't, and this isn't all men, but like I think generally, at least the guys that I talk to, like we're not caught up around like she's the one. It's like, does she do this? Cool. Right. You know what I mean? Am I ready? Cool.
It manifests a different way though, Jonathan. Like,
okay.
And I think I don't know if it was you, Kayla, that talked. I think you did talk about it, like wanting a woman that's a certain way, intimately, and then a woman who also cooks and cleans, and then also is a 10, and also stays at home and is very submissive, but also does this and that. Like having that, like those. And I'm not saying you can require whatever you want. People do whatever you want, but I think that is also a form of that Disney thing. Like women have it in one way, like some women have it in one way where they're like, I want us to meet like this, and the whole romantic comedy situation. But men also have sometimes seemingly delusional ideas of certain things as well. And I think that just because they aren't the same things doesn't mean that it's not the same effect. You know what I'm saying?
There's lots of delusions.
I think like what I'm trying to say is like I can keep my delusions until I'm like 80 and then still get married at 80. Whereas it's a lot harder for a woman to be delusional until she's 80 and then try to find somebody. He's just not going to be around. She might, it's possible, but is it probable for that to happen? You know what I mean? Like I can keep my delusions till 50 and still find somebody bad. It's a little bit harder.
But being 50 with a newborn is freaking wild. Why are we doing that? Like, I'm trying to figure out why you 60 picking up your 5th grader. Like, do you not understand like the importance of like, I don't know. I feel like early 30s is the best time to have your kids. Like I don't know. I just think that as you're starting to age, they'll keep you young, but you're still in a good bracket where you have the energy to keep up. And these new kids, especially these pandemic babies, are walking at 5 months. These kids need energy, they need attention, they need time. And what I've seen is that older parents don't got the attention and the time and the energy. So they're like, yeah, do whatever you want, get out of my face, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
They're not hands-on because they're old and they're tired. So why do you want to be a 6-year-old with a 10-year-old? For what? Do y'all not know how much energy 10-year-olds have? Y'all need to go be around some kids because this is not a joke. They are just like going. Mommy. Kay can attest. Like they just won't stop talking. They're running around. They're doing stuff. Like, come on now. Listen, you need to be in your 30s. You need to have that energy. That's all I'm saying. But if y'all want to be 60 with 10-year-olds, be my guest. Yeah, but I'm just like, why?
I get when people bring up the whole biological aspect and all these things because, as you age, allegedly, like, whatever. So, but I think that's more of a talking point. Like, I don't even think people are out here like 75, like, I want to procreate. So that's why I'm getting with this young woman. Like, is that really why? Now, some men, yes. Some, absolutely. Some men want to keep having kids forever.
Yeah.
But like, when that's used as a talking point, I'm always like, is that what you're actually trying to do? Or are you just using this talking point for whatever reason? Because a lot of, in fact, I think if my memory serves me correctly, most black men, I'm talking about black people because we black, most black men by a certain age have kids.
Yep.
So I think it's by like 40.
I don't know. Yeah, definitely by 40. Definitely,
it's something
40.
like that.
It's
so like,
35.
If you already have kids, you might, maybe some people want to start over when they're 50 or 60, but like a lot of people at that age have kids that are teenagers or grown or whatever at this point. So bringing up that talking point of these women are more biologically, like, what does that have to do with anything? Unless you're trying to have kids.
Right. And are you trying to rob a younger woman of that kids? Because what I've seen with a lot of the older men, even talking about Stephanie Shoma, who married that billionaire who's like in his 60s, they're not having any kids because he's in his 60s. He doesn't want to have kids. So a good deal of the time, men that are like a lot older are not trying to start over. And if they are, it's purely because she wants to. But they're really not, like, their kids are grown. They really don't want to start over. So it's like, why are we robbing this young, beautiful woman of procreating somebody beautiful because you don't want to have kids when they can just go with someone like a little bit closer to their age that have the energy for that? I don't know, whatever. To each their own. I'm just like, a good deal of women I see with older men end up not having children. Is it by choice?
Again, things that should be discussed
prior,
early in a relationship, before you get married, for sure. Whether or not you want kids, whether the other person wants kids, what y'all plan on doing.
Record, I don't, like, if I had a daughter, I would not tell her I would tell her to find the right person. Like, I would not tell her to just find anybody and get married because your biological clock. Like, I'm not going to say that.
Yeah.
I'm not. First, I'm gonna see, like, are you delusional? Like, have you been waiting 10 years because you just need for him to be 6'5", and because you haven't found somebody who's 6'5", then you just don't want to get married? Or is it because you just really you're searching but really haven't found the person that you want to be with? Okay, cool. But no, I would not tell her, because geriatric pregnancy is at 35, so you need to go ahead and find somebody before. And if you're not, you're disposable. Like, no, I would not do that.
That's so weird. It's very weird.
Yeah,
I'm glad you didn't do that, because it is strange. Because I just don't understand why would strangers care? Like, there are people right now, like, I saw somebody say something about your eggs, Kayla. Why do they care about your ovaries?
I have no idea.
How
is this weird to me? Especially people that, like, don't even show their actual selves.
I just don't I don't
get it. It's so weird. I mean, I guess that kind of takes us into our next topic, right? But before we get to that, we give some shout out to the super chats, just because we do appreciate you guys. Natasha, how dare you have me defend CT? His point in context was to teach 18 to 20-year-olds how to comport themselves, not for older men to necessarily court them. So why was he saying that I'm in competition with them then?
Yeah, he was definitely
Was that to do with them carrying themselves when he's speaking about me and them being, and how I'm in competition with them, and how that's why I'm not going to get what I want? Like, no. Good try though, Natasha. Shout out to people hitting that like button. Hit that like button. Shout out to Good Status 22. A 50-year-old man should be dating a woman half his age plus 7. So that's 33. Okay. All right. And
what in the what? Nothing. I'm not even gonna say anything.
Craziness,
Teacher-
right? 61%
teacher
of
mode
men are in
gone
the middle
right
class,
now.
but 52% are single and childless. We gain our value when older. Our baggage isn't the same. That's actually not true. And I need people to not listen to that because that's actually not true. My mom is a financial advisor, and a good deal of men in their 50 plus don't even have enough money to retire. Most Black men, like at least 70%, do not have enough money to retire at 60. So for you to say that they're gaining, that they're getting all of this, blah, 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 when the average American has less than $1,000 in their savings account, I really need us to get honest about this and stop doing stuff like that, because that's not the reality of the average people out here. It's just not. You know what I'm saying? And marrying is what actually makes most Black men middle class. It's funny, Kay, because after the show, I had someone email me a really long email with like all these, I'm going to send it to you, with all these, like, he cited all his work and blah, blah, blah. And how he basically was saying that, like, he feels like that lack of marriage is what's keeping some men out of the middle class by not being.
It is.
And you and your girlfriend are splitting overhead in 2 different places when y'all could actually combine y'all assets and buy a nice home in the suburbs.
Yeah, that
was like
that statistic.
Marriage do blah blah blah. You know, I don't know.
That statistic that people always like to cite about most Black men being in the middle class or whatever, it's talking about household income. It's not talking about like single people. So of course, like your marriage is definitely a financial move in life. Like you're now bringing 2 incomes together, usually, since nowadays, you know, usually both partners are working. So yeah, I mean, y'all better put that money together instead of paying 2 mortgages at 2 different places. And
it's wild.
And I'm going to get called a simp for this, but I don't understand why men specifically want to be the sole breadwinner of the house. I don't get it. I really don't. To me, if I could double my money tomorrow, I would double my money tomorrow. Why would I sit up making $50K a year and expect somebody who can also make $50K not to make $50K? unless there's like kids involved and like you got but it's like, to me, it doesn't make. Why would I expect somebody with a master's degree or, you know, some specialized experience to stop making money because I don't want her to? To me, that doesn't make sense. Like, and my wife, you know, she's actually older than me. She's 2 years older than me, right? And you know, I must be different because when I went looking for a wife, the first thing I said was, I don't want to be somebody's daddy. Like, I don't want to take care of. I don't want to take care of you. I'm going to take care of you, but I don't want to be like your soul. You're just relying on me for everything that you have. Like, you have no skills, you have nothing. You need to have some skills. And so, because we have a financial goal that we need to hit, and you need to help me with that. So I found a professional, and it's been great. Like, really, it's been great on the financial side because, you know, we save a whole lot more than we would have if it was just me. You know, like there's a lot, to me, there's a lot of perks to it. And I think a lot of times on YouTube, people talk about all of the downside, and there's some downside, but to me, there's a lot of upside as well. You get to your goals faster, you know? So yeah.
Do you think that a woman is more, I'm not going to use the word submissive, but whatever, that she will be more on your plan or more likely to listen to you or whatever word you want to use for it, if you are the sole breadwinner? Or do you think that some of that power?
I think this is what I think. I think people are entitled regardless of how much money they have in the bank, regardless of their degree status, regardless of where they live. If you're entitled, you're gonna be entitled. If you're not, you're not.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
And so my wife, she's not. You know what I mean? And then 2, the other thing about me is like, my manhood is self-affirmed. So there's nobody that can make me less of a man. I am because that's who I am. And so, like, when we met up and we began having conversations and we were talking and like getting to know each other and things like that, I never once felt that because she made money too, she didn't have to quote unquote listen to me. I didn't even necessarily require her to listen to me. I was just me, and she got to decide what she wants to do about that. You know what I mean?
And she
so
wanted
I told her,
to.
this is what.
And she wanted to because she got to know you and she trusts your leadership. And she, you know, respected and revered what it is that you do and who you are as a person and how you carry yourself. And I just think that men don't understand that, like, when it's given versus it being forced, it's just, everything's just better. Right. You know what I mean? Because there's two ways to do it. There's two ways to do things. And I've said this to someone in a conversation before. You can grab your girl's hand and you can say, you can grab him and let's go. This is where we're going, right? Or you can say, baby, I got something surprise for you. Get ready. You're in control in both of these situations, but one is domineering, like grabbing you, like you're going to come with me because I said so. And one is also saying you're going to come with me because I said so, but I'm doing it different. And I just think that one woman is excited and one woman is not. But both men are in control. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. That is what most women want. They want you to be like, baby, I got something planned for you. I got it all worked out. It's taken care of. Like, just, and you come versus like, I'm the man and this is what you need to do and do it now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't know. That analogy.
And the funny thing, like if people were to look from the outside looking in at my relationship, they would think it was a traditional relationship. Because I make most of the decisions, and then, like, you know, the finances, I take care of that. You know, the housing, like we live on my paycheck, hers goes into investments, you know, different things like that. But that's not something that I showed up and like beat my chest and required. It just happened that way because I am who I am and she is who she is.
It's also a little sexier when your partner is the one to hype you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like when you're walking around the house all day and you're like, I'm this and I'm that and I'm this and I'm that. It just sounds better when it's like, she's the one that's like, yes, baby, you doing it. Yes, honey, you got, like, y'all see my man? Yeah, you know, and like vice versa versus like, I don't know. It's something like sweet when I see couples doing that. And I see that the couples like hyping each other versus like each one of them talking about how great they are. Or like how much they benefit the other person. I don't know. What y'all think?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like Anton always says, I think leadership is something that you earn. It's not something that you just get because of your identity. That doesn't work.
That is something I can agree with Anton on. This is crazy, y'all. But no, I do agree on, you know, when I give credit where credit was due, and I totally agree with that. So. Yes, but that just takes us into, I know we have some people, if you want to come up on stage, want to get to some callers and get some feedback about the topics that we talked about tonight. Let's get to the very last topic that will bring everybody up because I think this topic is great. Okay. So Jonathan, you're a married man, of course, but can you tell me what makes a marriage successful? That it lasts or that is healthy?
It's weird because I would think if it's healthy, it lasts. But so I would say healthy to me. That is healthy.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. You know, because there's married people that are married for long, long times and unhealthy marriages, but they think that they, I guess, have the answers or won a prize because they were able to stay married that long in a toxic situation, where there are people who've also been married and, you know, had a healthy relationship. And when it wasn't no longer healthy, they ended it. Or, you know, maybe they haven't been married that long compared to somebody who's been married 30 years and been married for 3, but their relationship is much more healthy and mature than the people that were married for 30 years. So that's kind of why I wanted to bring this up, because I think that it gets skewed sometimes because there are older people that swear that they have the answers when they just got old. They didn't necessarily get mature. They didn't necessarily grow. They didn't necessarily do things right. They were just doing the wrong things for a long time, or they were just being stagnant and just got older. So I think it's important to kind of discuss like the difference there.
Yeah, I would say healthy as well, because when I'm thinking of success, you know, I'm not just thinking of the marriage just being them just being married. It's more so, are they accomplishing things together? Do they love each other? Do they care about each other? Are they there for each other? Those other like qualitative things versus the quantitative, like, did it last? A lot of people are stuck in miserable marriages. And I'm not saying, whether anyone should or what anyone should do if they're stuck in a miserable marriage, barring instances of like abuse. But I mean, if you're constantly having to figure things out and you're never happy and you feel tired and drained all the time, I wouldn't say that was successful just because y'all are together. I think having a healthy marriage is much, will lead to a long lasting marriage. Let me put it that way. So I think that's the most important thing. Healthy marriage is a successful marriage.
Statistics say that people that marry a little bit older seem to have more successful relationships versus the ones that marry 18 to 25. Just throwing that out there. Because I know we push that. But again, what do you really know at 20 years old? You know what I'm saying? And then when you wake up and you're 35 and you're like, where am I? Yeah. But yeah, so I'll bring some callers on, kind of talk about that a little bit. But I genuinely think that having a healthy marriage, even if it's only been a few years compared to someone that's been together 30 years and something toxic, I will always go with the healthy. And I believe healthy is also knowing when something is toxic and to leave it and to get out of it, especially if there's any kind of mental, emotional abuse or physical abuse or anything like that. I feel like healthy is knowing when something isn't healthy and doing something about it. So
yeah, because and that differs, like that varies from person to person. Some people think one thing is healthy and good, and some people think another thing is. And that's why, like, even the clip that you played earlier, and like, Kayla, me and you get a lot of comments about things and the types of people we are from people that don't know us at all. And I always think, like, how could you possibly think that every single person has the same preference as you? Like, some people are saying, like, we'll say Kay or Kayla, y'all are this way and that way, and that's why you're never. And it's like,
people you don't even know, people you won't even see ever, people who don't even have balls enough to put a photo under their profile. It is really crazy. But I think at the same time, those people kind of deflect off of what's going on with them. It's kind of like when you watch reality shows, right? And you're watching other people's drama and you don't have to focus on your own. In this moment, all I care about what's going on with Nene and Greg. Why is Greg doing this? What's going on with Nene? Like, how can they do that? And I think I know everything about their lives, but really it's just a reprieve from thinking about what I got going on in mine. So that's all I see it as. You know,
and different people want different things. Some people love a career-driven, like very goal-oriented type of woman who doesn't want kids. Some men love that in a woman. Some men love a woman who wants a big family, wants to stay home, wants to cook and clean. Some men don't want their wife or their woman touching a mop or a broom. Some do. Like, there are tons of different preferences that people have, and I just always find it quite interesting when people assume that there's just like this one preference that everyone likes. Some men like women who are really quiet. Some like women that are really loud. And different people like different things. And I think that the sooner people can realize that, the easier people's lives will be, and the less stressed and angry in comment sections people will be, all of it, because different people want different things.
And it's okay for different people to want different things.
And it doesn't feel like a prison when you actually choose somebody that likes the stuff that you prefer.
Exactly.
That makes the most sense. Why would you listen to a stranger or listen to advice from someone else about what they do in their marriage when you don't even like those things. So whatever they're telling you that their wife does to please them, that doesn't please you. And then how's that help your marriage? You know what I'm saying?
Imagine adjusting for like the comment section. Like, what? No.
No, it's
not
weird
how-
though, because I think people genuinely think that they have the answers. I genuinely think people do think that they have the answers because of things they've seen, things they've heard, things they've read. And then they say, oh, I've watched you on a few shows. I know how you are. I know who you are, and that's okay, because I genuinely, I'm cool with it. Like, I appreciate the fact that you're here with me and you've come to join us. No, for real. I appreciate it. You could be anywhere else, doing anything else, but you're here with us. So how can I be mad at that? Even if you're mad, it's okay. I'm not mad. I'll be happy for the both of us.
I think some men, like specific, they don't. I think a lot of men, people got to be more introspective about themselves and what they want and what they like and don't like. Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot of men that don't have the temperament to be able to, that don't have the temperament or the discipline to be able to head a household completely by themselves. And I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that. You just have to know yourself and know, like, I'm not going to be working 80 hours to 100 hours a week. Like, there's certain jobs, some people like work-life balance, some people don't. I think there's certain women, they're too busy, like literally, like mentally, they're just too busy to kind of just be at home chilling all day. You need to go to work, because that's go to work, get that busy, then come home and keep being busy. But a lot of people, I think, like you all said, are so mixed up, like listening to other people about what they think they should be because they're a man, or who they think they should be because they're a woman, and they don't stop and think about what they actually want and what they actually need.
Being yourself is the best way to get the best person for you. Facts. It's the best way. If you act a way, eventually you're gonna stop with that act and think there will be
I was
problems,
just gonna say that, Kay. Don't do stuff you can't maintain. Like all this rah-rah, when you cannot maintain it, it's eventually gonna ruin the relationship anyway. It's eventually gonna end, because you're eventually gonna just be yourself, and then your partner's gonna be like, who are you? And it's gonna go from there. So I just think you should be yourself as much as yourself from the beginning, and see if it really is a match, because otherwise I feel like you're just prolonging pain and suffering.
And I always think that, like, your mate should make you more you, like a better version of yourself. Like, you get to bloom and just like grow with your mate. And if you feel held back by like having to do a certain thing to, I don't know, like just being, I guess, not necessarily fake, but just trying to live up to some kind of image that's not yours, I feel like I think a lot of times that will definitely cause issues. And I mean, we see a lot of people have issues. How many times have y'all heard people talking about how their person changed like over time? And it's just like, well, they probably
half of them was already like that.
They were probably that way already. Exactly.
You just didn't know because you didn't really know them.
Or they changed because people changed.
Well, that's why I said half, because the other half is people change. Yeah. But a good deal of people don't know who they're dealing with, and they think that like that person, you're a whole other person. It's like not really. Like you were just so mesmerized that you kind of overlooked these things, but they've been like this, and then they change a little bit more on top of that,
Yeah. And change should be, I mean, change for the better, and just change in general is to be expected. It's going to happen in any relationship, and I think that those are things that you have to think about and work together with your partner if you want the relationship to work. Because some people change in ways that you might like or might not like, but if you're married, these are things you have to, I think, that you should expect. Jonathan, co-sign or something, since I'm not married yet. Do you think that?
Well, my parents have been married for 35 years, so I'll tell you what they taught me, because I haven't been married long enough. But they taught me people change every 5 to 7 years, and if you don't think that your spouse is going to change, then you better think again. you know. And so, my mom, for example, when they first started out, my mom was like very traditional, stayed at home, didn't work. Dad went out, he was working 3 jobs, all kind of stuff. As she got older, she developed more of an identity. And then she decided, hey, I have some dreams and some goals I want to go pursue. And so she had to go out and pursue them. What did that mean? That mean that she wasn't at home every night cooking. That meant that my dad had to clean some stuff, too. And he said he struggled a little bit with that because he was like, dang, I was living the good life for a minute. But he had to
spoil.
He had to say, okay, like she deserves the right to have her own goals and dreams. She can go out and do that. And he appreciated the extra money that came in and they made it work. Mm-hmm. And so different people do different things. Like you can't expect that.
I think
people are in for a rude awakening if they find a little 22-year-old, like you said, Kayla,
and think they're just
not going to change when she's forever. 30. Come on,
she's going to change. She's not going to be like that forever, especially because, and you don't want her to be, because those empty nesters are really concerning. They're really overbearing. They don't have anything else going on. They don't have lives. They have sometimes issues with understanding that, like, I have my own family now. And I just think it's important for people to have their own thing and to have your own basis of your relationship that's outside of the children, because these people don't belong to you. This is just a job you've been given. They don't belong to you. They're going to go on and do whatever they want. And you have to go on with your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, your life cannot be revolved around someone who the whole purpose for them is to age out of your house. So having your own something, I mean, I hate to see some of the empty nesters that feel lost, and like sometimes it cause strife in the relationship because it's like, oh, you don't call me as much and I don't see you as much. And it's like, yeah, I understand, Mom, because I have my own life. I have my own family. Like, are you and Dad not going to go do things? Like, don't y'all have things to do? Like, so
are you and Dad going to go do things?
Well, I mean,
you're just like, okay, so are y'all going to have a life after the kids leave?
Yeah. Y'all have to have a life. And that's where we see a lot of the breakdown in a lot of those marriages is once the kids leave, then it happened like on 3 different couples on the same show, Married to Medicine. It was like that transition when their kids were going off to college, and it was kind of like, what are we doing here? What is our purpose together anymore? So I don't want that. I think everyone should have their own passions and things they're passionate about, so that after the rearing of the kids is done, there's still things that you're passionate about and you're involved in. And you don't have to go jumping in at that time, because that's the hardest part too. Like, say you decide now, all these years later, you want to get involved in the church. Well, they already got their committee set up. Now you got to go try to figure out where you fit in. And you know what I'm saying? Like, these are real things. These are real things. So
just staying passionate and like into each other, I think, is important. I think a lot of times some people get caught up with like the day-to-day of just like raising their family, which of course is a priority, and that's what you're there, that's what you're doing. But like Kayla said, when the kids leave, you still want to be very close with your mate. You don't want to sit around like, wait a minute, now what do we do? Like, you want to still have that that excitement, and that companionship, even with your kids being adults. Hi, Mr. No Ma'am. Mr. No Ma'am.
Hi, Mr. No Ma'am. Thank you very much for waiting. We appreciate it.
What's that show with Peggy and
Peggy?
Al.
Married with Children.
Married with Children, yes. There was like a they had t-shirts that said "No Ma'am," and it was.
I do have the shirt. I just didn't feel like going downstairs to get it.
I knew you knew. Yeah.
I literally have the shirt. Yes.
You seem like you have the shirt. Anybody who makes their name that probably has the shirt.
Yeah. It's a fun thing. I needed a name for the show, so fun time.
So what's going on? Thank you for calling in.
Yeah.
Boredom plus Kayla said, "You never show your face when you talk bad about me." Yes, I do.
I've never
seen girl. How y'all doing?
Wait, what?
Nothing.
You in the comments talking bad about Kayla?
No, No, I don't get the
Okay.
comments talking bad about it. I just say, I just I comment when I see things about argumentativeness on the Let's Talk show. It's always fun. It's always
That's
fun.
what I'm there for.
It's
You
just the
want
back.
some
It's
professional
just
stuff? Go watch the tip.
it's
You
just
want
what I
something
do. What I do
professional?
is
Go watch
I
the tip.
get my giant bag of popcorn. It's like, oh, and here goes Logic, and there's Kayla. There's the vein in Kayla's head, and watch it go. And Logic has gone off now.
Wow. Well, I'm glad that you're entertained, because that is the whole purpose.
That is literally the point. Yes,
That's literally the point.
And then I get to see Anton start breathing hard. It's just fun times, and then JR just gets to laughing to the point where he just loses control of the control board, and good times. So topics.
Yeah, topics.
So yeah. About my brain will work eventually. About the one about time periods between older men and younger ladies.
The
Usually,
age gap.
Yeah, the age gap. I can tell you, usually with that one, I found that it's just a matter of what people tend to be interested in at the time. So, what happens a lot of times. I had a friend of mine. A quick example: he was 29 years old. He was a manager at the store I was working at. He went to Starbucks to grab some drinks for us. Comes back, he's looking just weird. I'm looking at him like, dude, what happened? What happened? And he's just like, bro, man, you don't even know what happened, man. And there was a local band playing, and he got hit on by the 14, 15-year-old girls. And he just, all of them flooded on him. Just, oh, you big, strong, handsome man. And why? Because he's a 29-year-old. He's got his own money, and he's got his own vehicle. He's everything, and because they're 14, that's amazing to them. You have this amazing thing. When you got a guy who's, and depending on the situation, if you got a guy who's, if you got a guy who's like, and I'm about to use a weird, just random example. I make up. You got a guy who's a business architect. He's into some, got his own firm or something like that. And you got somebody who's into, something along those lines, and she's 23, and they hook up somewhere. These things happen. Or even if he's just around somewhere and just somebody looking at a house, and that he just happens to be the one who's involved in the retail selling of it or something like that. That happens. I know these people hook up, and with that type of thing, a lot of that mostly just comes to the fact of, I'm in this situation, proximity, and youth. Is youth. Things are tight. They look pretty, and I'm about to, because men, the first thing is visual. It's like what else are you gonna do?
I would agree on that, but I feel like women are the most visual we've ever been in the history of being here.
But you still, at the end of the day, want your things.
Yeah, but when you're young, okay.
Want more things.
Never mind. I was gonna say,
young, you want everything.
When millennials were young, we weren't thinking about it like that. I know now the new Gen Zs, it's like, you need to have a bag, blah, blah, blah. But like, I just remember being in college, like, you just wanted to do that, like, look good and like, was cool and like, treated you nice and like, that look attractive, that you was attractive to. And like, I'm just thinking about when I was young. I know things are different now. Young girls think different now, but I mean,
it must have been one of them HBCU things. I don't
know. I don't even know.
I don't recall that.
I don't recall a time period where women didn't find attractive men or charismatic men attractive.
Yeah,
like I don't recall one.
Yeah.
Now, who they chose to marry, maybe that's different for like middle class or like upper middle class women who had like family to consider.
Yeah,
but most people have never been middle class or upper middle class when you think about time periods anyway. So like regular folk, I'm not necessarily sure that maybe they were a little bit more concerned with character, but where do you think Tall, dark, and handsome didn't just appear within the last 10 years.
Yeah.
That's like 100-year-old term.
And even then, if we take it out of high end guy and bring it down to normal guy, I worked at FedEx. I knew old guys who had 3 and 4 ladies. He had one to pick him up from work, one to cook the food for him, one to go over everywhere. I mean, I knew a dude named Jesse, old player, used to have, well, that's who the one I was talking about, actually. It's the only dude who could show up to work an hour early, show up at his place at work an hour late, cursing the whole way around, never get fired. And did he get his pick of any woman just because he had for the most part nothing. And like and this is,
but he was very attractive and charismatic, is what you're saying.
No.
Then what's going on here?
Old Mac from way back though.
That worked at the FedEx?
Yeah.
Wow.
But see,
do those girls work at McDonald's?
No, reasonably well off person. That's the thing. It's just knowing your audience. If you
when you say old Mac from way back, are you saying that he knew how to speak to these women in a way that made them like him, which would like be along the lines of maybe having like a certain level of charisma or personality?
Jerome from Martin.
Jerome from Martin.
Hey, girl, how you doing, that guy?
Jerome is Martin's friend, right?
Jerome from the show Martin.
I say Jerome in the house.
Yeah.
Wait.
But he just described him as he just described him as being charismatic. That's what he does. He's charismatic. That's why women like him.
But if you remember from the show, Jerome was actually thought he was charismatic. That was the joke. Jerome was the guy.
Look, we're getting way off into.
That's what I'm saying though. But it's the point being though that it's like while we're thinking of these people like this guy, and I'm just using an example, this older gentleman is going to be running around here with these young girls, or he's going to find something. He's going to find something for them to do or a part for them to play. And regardless of who these people are, and just the age gap or however it is, they're going to fit them in somewhere. And they're gonna get them, and they're gonna attract them, and a lot of it is, and you said, a lot of it is just she's pretty, she looks good, things are tight, they look nice, lovely ladies, they everywhere.
You keep saying that things are tight.
Yes,
I just don't know what's going on with this guy, but
things are on a tray, as they used to say.
Okay, Mr. No Ma'am. I feel you.
And I'm just trying to make a point of
women like to be talked to a certain way. Women like to laugh. And I know it's a fact that there are men that can laugh women right out of their panties. That is the thing. So if a man is charismatic, somewhat handsome, it doesn't necessarily matter what he has going on. He can make her feel good, and that works. That does work. So that's the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not, and I'm just saying, like when it just comes to those, like it seems like counterintuitive that you're going in the back of your head, you're like, how did this guy with like nothing, no teeth, never.
Wait, now he ain't have teeth.
He's
whatever.
Just going further. He's saying more and more things, and now I'm just. First, he was just.
I'm just giving you, hey, I'm giving it to you. I'm just telling you what happened. I'm telling you the type of,
the thing is, a lot of
I'm just
people,
making a point. And just, you just wonder, like, how did you get what is, she might not be a 10, but she's a 7 or an 8 or something. And you're like, how did you do that? And, and you go like this guy, sometimes they're able to pull and there's nothing there. And you're going, wow. This lady is an RN. She's not like, oh, just like random lady at McDonald's. She's an actual, she's doing something well for herself. She doesn't have 9 children. She doesn't have nothing going for her. But this is the guy she picked. Things are, and she seems okay. Hey, do you
When those women chose that man that you didn't
exactly?
think,
Do
when
you?
when they chose him, and the men that it seems you don't think he was worthy of these
Oh
women.
no, that guy was cool. Do you?
Okay, well now you putting some. Then why are you surprised that women like him?
No, the point was when I'm talking about age gaps, and these guys were picking, when we're talking about I'm talking about dudes that we are picking. When we're talking about how do you, when Kayla was talking about how do you pick a man who's 60 and he doesn't have this, he's not some, 60-year-old. You see him on the front of the cover, on the cover of a magazine, when you're like, oh, so and so is 60. You see him in the Tom Ford. He's muscular. He looks great, and you're going, oh, he's with so and so who looks amazing. And I just pointed out, like, hey, I see her with who does look great, who is a good looking woman, with a guy who, as I just said, hey, this guy's teeth doesn't have all his teeth, he's not looking that great himself.
This is the
And then
thing.
now he's
This is what people have to understand.
So,
This
and
is what
like
people
we're
have to
just talking
understand.
about this here, like, why would you pick this guy? And it's like, yeah, no, but you know what?
Well,
This
just
person
because
personally
you
is a good
don't
guy.
think he looks away or is away doesn't mean that women won't. I
But
mean, you can't decide what women are going to find attractive. You're a man, like, unless you're also well, I don't know. I'm not assuming anything about you. I don't know. But you can't decide what women are going to think is attractive. Some women aren't even going for looks. They're going for personality. Some people are looking for a sense of humor. Some people are looking for, whatever. Like, it's just because you think a certain man is attractive, like more so than another, doesn't mean that that's always going to be the man that gets the women. There are plenty of very attractive men who a woman might be like, oh, he's, and then once he starts talking, she's like, never mind. And then there are plenty of men. There are plenty of men who people might not find attractive, but they easily get women because their personality is great. They're charismatic. They're funny. They're cool to be around. So you can't decide based on what you think of the man. The only person who can decide is the person who is trying to date that person. Like, you can't say what somebody else should or shouldn't or does or doesn't.
Well, just like I'm giving you some examples.
I know, but you seemed shocked. Like, you're basing you're using
no. There are times where there's always going to be the initial shock of certain things. There's human beings is I'm sorry, I keep forgetting where my camera is. So I'm looking at, I got two screens. Human beings, we still do have that thing where we look at aesthetics and we do go, wait, why would you pick, like, when you look at a person wearing two different colors that don't really match, but it works, you're like, how does that work? It's the initial shock that makes you go.
But when next time you have that shock, I want you to ask yourself, why am I shocked? Is it because I don't think this or something else? Ask yourself the question, because why are you shocked? That would be a good introspective moment if this is something that you see, often. Like, why are you shocked? Like, I'm not going to be shocked. Like, that must be their type.
Last time was because he was 86 and she was 27.
Wait, are we still talking about the man with no teeth that works at FedEx?
No, this is another guy.
Oh,
there's no way we can be.
That was amazing. As a old country boy.
Wild.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But
that was very interesting.
Yeah. No, that one was a fun one there. I'm sorry. Just real fast. You probably got other folks waiting. As far as healthy or long term, as a fast one, I'd say healthy. But but it's a way, obviously it's way more complicated than that, because I do say long term, because I've done, I'm coming up on almost 10 years, and it's just like you do have to count years, because if I'm quote unquote healthy, and we spent good 2 years together, and it was an amazing healthy 2 years, and then it's over suddenly, and it's just like, but you were only together for 2 years, and and then it was over. Does it count? Do you count that as actually being married, or is that just considered a really serious dating relationship?
But if your marriage was amazing and healthy, would it be ending in 2 years?
Some people would say that. I mean, just depends. I mean,
anything is possible.
And that's part of, and I mean that's part of the question. So, but yeah, no, I mean, I don't know if you gather the folks you want to bring, you bring it in, or however, but
Well, this has been a roller coaster of.
I figured I'd make you laugh.
I don't know. I didn't know what was going on at first. Then I kind of put it together. I was like, okay, I see, gave you some homework, the introspection thing. Next time you're confused about somebody, ask yourself why. I think this is okay. Thank you for calling in. Thank you for your support.
Thank you. We really appreciate you.
We do.
No problem at all.
You have a good night.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Who else we got up in the back?
Okay, look, before we bring him.
Who is it?
We're not about to sit through any songs, no songs, comedy, no nothing. No. All right.
Out here in these streets, know what I'm talking about them now.
No. Let's just be normal tonight. I think that we can do that.
Mic. No, I'm talking about, that's how these shorties do out here out in the South, man. I mean, so I'm talking about, it's saying how you want that $30,000 ring. Know what I'm talking about? We got that bread. Know what I'm talking about?
The fact that he uses our show and other shows to
build for you, know what I'm talking about?
This is just, I don't even know.
Yeah, man. You know what I'm talking about? I represent the South. Ice up in my mouth. Shorties wanna dig. Kayla got a wig. I represent the South.
Are you serious?
I'll be up in the thing, man. It's about to go in time. Check it out, man.
It's crazy.
So there's know what I'm talking about. They want that real bread. Know what I'm talking about? That's how it work out here, and that's how you get the wire there. So you gotta have that grill, that ice in your mouth. Know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't know what you are talking about. I don't know.
But I got that bread, shawty. Check it out. Now this thing work. But I see y'all up in the H-time, you know what I'm talking about? H-time.
So does that mean that you will be does that mean that you'll be there?
I'm gonna be up in that thing, you know what I'm talking about? Every one of my alter egos gonna be up in there, you know what I'm talking about?
Can you be serious for a couple of seconds?
I'll be up in that H-time. I'll see you out there, you know what I'm talking about. Good night, everybody.
Okay. Well, listen. This is a great time to go ahead and get in there. God, that just, I don't know.
See,
there are still tickets available. There are literally only 15 tickets left. The venue will obviously be sold out. We have a capacity. We can't sell more tickets. So get your tickets. Click.
Am I frozen?
3rd at 2:00.
No, you're not frozen.
Oh, Saturday the 23rd at 2:00. The address and location will be dropped along with all the details. You'll get our itinerary for the after party after the event on Saturday, along with the brunch activities we'll be having on Sunday. So you can spend time with us this weekend. So get your tickets. Like I said, there's literally only 15 tickets left. So come on, people. Get these tickets. And hopefully we'll see you guys there. This weekend. So it's going to be a fun opportunity. There is also a discount for the hotel in the bio as well if you're going to be coming into town, driving into town or whatever. So I hope to see you guys there. Yes, I will be there.
California next.
Yeah, California. I think that after I'm pretty sure that after Houston is Atlanta and then Chicago. But I'm hopeful that California can get on there because I think California is so
Come on
lit.
down. Come on
But
to
California is so big, so where would we do? What, like LA or like Sacramento?
You gotta do Southern California. LA gotta be LA.
Yeah, I think so too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I don't know. It's just gonna be such a good time. There'll be some Let's Talk will obviously be live, but there'll be some other things that are going to be going on the itinerary for the event. There'll be some games we're going to be playing where you guys will be able to participate and play with us. There's also be not open bar, but there'll be a cash bar available along with there's great food at this place too. Because obviously the show's going to be going on. The whole event is going to be a few hours, so there will be food, drink, beverages, red carpet, the whole nine. So I'm really excited for everyone to be there and to see everyone. It's going to be a good time. And I haven't been to Houston in a little while, so I am gonna, me and my Cellius official will be there because I need to try to stay up for that full time. But I think that in person, it's a fact that things are just different than they are on the internet. Wow. So I'm really excited to see how people are in person. I'm really excited to see what kind of things Mr. Coleman, I'm sorry, not Mr. Coleman, what's his name? Scam Likely. I'm really excited to see like how he shows up. That's going to be very interesting to see how he shows up amongst some of our other supporters / frenemies, So y'all, I'm going to have the most A1 report on the next show, the Monday after the event. That show is y'all have to be here 8:30 next Monday because I'm giving all the scoop, all the tea, everything that happened that weekend, because there won't be another Let's Talk after that. It'll be first show of the week after the live show.
And I'm going to be like, what happened?
And I'm actually going to be, I'm actually going to be like running because I get back in town at 7 p.m. Monday at Eastern. And our show starts at 8:30.
Oh, no. So you need to hurry up.
I'm parking and riding. So my car will be right at the airport. But like, still, like, I'll be coming straight off the heels of it, giving you guys hot tea. Yes. For what happened what's going to go down this weekend, because it is about to go down. And I'm excited. I mean, I haven't been to Houston in a minute, but I do know that the food is going to be good. Not healthy, but good. Yeah. I'm really upset at Kay, though. Me and Kay are beefing because she's supposed to be by my side.
I'll be there.
And she's doing marital things, so she can't be there because she has all her marital things going on. So I love that for her, but we're still beefing because she's
I'll be there in spirit, and I'm gonna expect like hourly, updates, Kayla. So be ready to send me some text messages, some voice notes. I gotta know what's going on. I actually am so interested to see how, like you said, things are always different in person. I know some people might be like maybe acting silly, but people do not have the same level of,
not the same energy.
Yeah, they don't have the same energy.
Energy. It's not. One of my best friends is coming with me. Because like I said, I have friends and family that will up and go places to do things and support me. So a good friend of mine is also multiple friends that I went to Howard and went to school with who live in Houston are going to be coming out. So I'm super excited to have them there as well. So I'm definitely going to have a Kayla corner there, which my supporter, my like people who know me, you know what I'm saying? Like know me personally. So I'm super excited to have them there. And I'm really excited to see how people act. I'm excited mainly for the after party after the event. It's at a nightclub. All of that information will be released to people who bought tickets. You'll get an email with all the details. But I'm really excited to see what Logic does because, Logic really picks up women in the Walmart. I want to see like how he moves around in these public spaces where there are women, because I'm rooting for Logic. I want Logic to be happy. I want him to stop being frustrated with Uber Eats. I want him the best for him. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really excited to see how he moves around in Houston, and maybe we can find him a love.
The fact that you're like specifically like, I want to know what Logic is going to be doing
more for Logic
in this environment.
I want more for him than the Walmart retreats. I want him to find someone who will do all the things, like to get on his program. I really do, because I believe that men that are happy are better people and better co-hosts, and they mind their business a little bit better. And I don't know. I just feel like that.
Wait, what? Are you saying that he needs to find somebody there?
I think he does. I think he needs to find someone. I mean, all like single people, non-married people need to, I mean, it's you feel good. And I feel like you're your best self when you're in a happy, healthy relationship. You have your back, you know, your person that has your back. You're able to be, you know, I don't know. I feel like, especially if they're a good person, they make you better. They bring out the best things in you. Yeah. A good, healthy relationship. And so that's all I'm saying, is that maybe we'll hear less about Walmart, you know, if he can like secure a Houston daddy, you know. Hopefully they don't have social media or any cleavage out, you know, because then they're not going to make it with Logic. But I'm hopeful. I feel like he can find somebody in Houston.
You know what? Remember when we talked about For the Love of Logic, like,
yes,
a long time ago? If there are some people that could be one of our shows,
bring them on. Some of their information. Some of the
bring
women
him on.
Yes,
yeah.
Maybe some of the women that I see him interact with. I'll go back and get their card or their information, and I'll just say, like, hey, you want to come on our show? And then I'm gonna do For the Love of Logic. Like, maybe we'll do an episode here. We bring Logic on, and we just do like kind of like, you know, Kendra from WGCI.
Yeah.
You know, like how she has her show. Maybe we'll do that. And like bring them on and ask them questions and see if they're compatible with them, and like see if we can make some love connections.
Jonathan, you've already been enlisted as the resident like married man.
Yes.
So if this happens,
you have to be there.
You'll have to come offer your.
I'm interested in that. Yeah. I didn't know you were the plug, Kayla. You be in there winging like that?
Huh?
You set your male homies up like that?
No, but I actually have set up. I actually have done a couple of introductions that led to relationships. I have actually. One of them we're still together now, but that was years ago, so I don't even know. Like, we were in grad school, so I don't know. I didn't even finish. I freaking dropped out. So, but yeah, I mean, I have real friends. And I believe in platonic relationships. I have lots of male friends. I mean, I have another friend that I've been trying to set up for a minute, just trying to find him the right one. But he's such a great guy. He makes such a good husband. He can cook his ass off. He's so thoughtful, and he's very he's such a great guy. I want him to he deserves, you know. So when we go to homecoming, I'm going to be trying to hook him up with someone, because we have these big group things at homecoming where we rent a big Airbnb house and we all stay there and we take turns making breakfast. I'll make breakfast one day, he'll make breakfast, and our other two friends, we all like to cook, you know. So and then we pregame there and then we go out, right? So we just have fun and stuff like that. So I'm hopeful. It's this year, everything has been so great for me and all my friends. Been nothing but some of the best times. 2022 has been so great for all of the people around me. And, you know, I just want the best for all of my peoples. That's it.
As you should.
Y'all keep Logic in your prayers, and send us some women that shop at Target. Shoot them in my DM so we can have them come on the Love of Logic. Yeah. Logic hasn't consented to any of this, but
no, he did. Wait, remember I sent a whole email. It was me, you, and Logic.
No, he has consented to this.
Yeah, he knows.
He has. I don't know if he's consented to our methods or tactics.
Yeah, I don't know.
Consented to For the Love of Logic happening, and I think it's going to be great.
That would be so. That would be such a good show, or a good couple of shows, a little series maybe.
Okay, so we got some super chats. Thank you guys. Appreciate y'all so much. So let's shout out to the first one. We got John the Baptist. I have raised a 25-year-old son and a 20-year-old daughter and have encouraged both to marry before 23. Okay, great. Good for them. Next is Black and Blue, a typical podcast. Kayla, what's your favorite thing to cook? My favorite thing to cook is breakfast food. I love a good filet steak and eggs with a little spinach compote and with like hash on top of hash. But I also love making mascarpone pasta, like this Italian cheese pasta thing that like I'm known for in my family of making. So those are my two go-to. But y'all know me, I like to eat out a good deal at a time as well. So yeah. Who else? Any more super chats? Was that all? Come on, y'all. Come on. I know y'all got questions. I answer questions in the super chat. I do.
Yeah.
I got. So y'all super chat. I will answer your question directly. I mean, I know y'all stay with the shady questions, but bring it. I am so ready.
Oh, you're fired up, Kayla.
I said breakfast. Like, are you having filet for breakfast? It takes skill to make the filet just right. And I don't know if you know that, but I do. I worked in the restaurant business for 6 years, put myself through college. I was a restaurant manager. I was a bartender. I was a cocktail waitress. I was a food runner. I've done everything that there is to do. I've watched people cook day in and day out. So, you know, I know a thing or two. But like I said, 15 tickets left. Live show this weekend. I leave at 8 o'clock in the morning on Friday. That's only a few days from now. You can get your tickets. 15 tickets. 15 tickets. Well, that's my spill.
So, like, as we're wrapping up, because I don't think anyone else is calling, and that's okay. Resident married man on the panel, if you had to give a piece of advice, because we talked about advice giving today. If you had to give a piece of advice, just general advice to people who are in relationships, looking to get married, or who want to have long, successful relationships, or something that leads to a marriage, what would you give them? What kind of advice?
I think the best advice that I was given is that if you feel called to do something, you should also feel called to study. And honestly, like, I think a lot of people, if you feel called, or you want to get married, or you want to do, you want to be with somebody, then you need to be studying yourself. You need to be studying about what marriage is. You need to be going and seeking help, going to counseling to get yourself together, going to premarital counseling with the person that you're with, so that you really get an understanding of what you're, kind of getting yourself into, and just kind of how to make the best out of that situation. I think, and for me, like, I think healthy relationships are relationships where people take ownership of, like, their own stuff, and they're always constantly striving to be better and do better. I don't think it's like a relationship where everybody's perfect, because I don't think that exists. But for me, it's like, if you want to get married and you want to really be in a healthy situation in a relationship, you got to know yourself. And the only way to do that is to study and to read and to get help. So that's kind of what I would say.
Okay. I thought that was good advice. I think it's solid. But what do I know?
You know plenty. You know plenty.
You know a lot.
Oh, I know.
You know a whole lot. It doesn't really matter.
You're not allowed to know stuff until.
No.
And let me tell you this.
No, I'm just playing.
Like,
I thought that was good advice.
I think children of, like, parents who they watch their parents and whose parents are in healthy relationships actually have a lot to contribute and say about, like, what healthy relationships look like. I remember as an adult going into the garage in my parents' home and finding, like, books and material and videos and all of these things on marriage. I thought they winged it, and winged raising us. But that wasn't the case. They were always constantly in, some sort of literature, whether that be the Bible, whether that be, just Focus on the Family by James Dobson. I don't know if people remember that, but like just things that they would do to continue to kind of like figure themselves out so they could be better people. And so, I think you know a lot, Kay.
Thank you. There's so much power in reading. Like, I cannot stress it enough. You can learn about anything you want to know, anything you can think of. Yep. There are people who have thought of it and written about it and probably studied it. And I highly encourage everyone to read about whatever it is that you're interested in. And don't be afraid of just broadening your scope of the world through literature or through just reading, because I think that that's a part that it's obvious that some people don't utilize reading as a tool, but like, yeah, reading especially for things like this, especially for things like marriage or relationships or whatever, happiness, I don't know, whatever it is that you think about, that you think of as like a personal thing that you have to decide, you have to come up with what you think about it. Reading always will help. There are always people that know more or that have a different perspective that can be useful.
And there are audiobooks these days, guys.
Oh yeah, you get Audible.
If you have Amazon, you can get Audible for like half price. There's no excuses.
Yeah, no.
Any excuse will do, or you can just do it.
And Google Scholar is a great resource. Okay. And if you have access to a university library and their online sources, like, in fact, Jonathan, I might need to get your password. Well, we'll talk about that later, because I need to be able to, sometimes I'm looking for something and you know how you have to have like credentials or you got to pay. And I'm like,
let me know. Let me know what you need.
Man, I didn't even think about it like until just now.
Okay, another super chat. I didn't watch. I don't know if you want to answer this one, Kay. Did you watch Pocket Watching with JT featuring Anton? What did you think? I didn't watch it. I
saw the thumbnail, but what about it?
I don't know. They just said, did you watch it? I haven't watched it. I have a lot going on these days.
And we already spend like Mondays and Thursdays. Not saying that we can't like peep in, like, on the weekend or like peep in at some of these things that are going on, but it's they're late nights on Mondays and Thursdays. And then other people have these long streams and it's like at night and stuff. Like, I can't.
And some of us have jobs that we have to get up and do. And like for me, my job is very strategic. So I'm doing a lot of reading and thinking all day. So I need the rest to make sure my mind is like good, So that's these nights be getting me. But I do my best because I'm here for you guys. I am dedicated. Just like last Thursday, I was on the show in my car because I'm dedicated and I try to make it work, make every situation work. But yeah, these late nights, yeah, they're tough sometimes. But I'm just excited for this weekend, guys. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I'm ready to eat. I know there's going to be good food.
Aren't y'all having like a dinner?
Yes, we're having a team dinner that's going to be filmed reality show style. So that's really interesting. Like, how you watch those housewife dinners. I'm really excited to see how that goes. Everyone's going to be dressed in their black tie best. So I'm super excited for that. That's something that you guys probably won't see until long after, but I still have to check. I'm not sure if the show is going to be live. I'm pretty sure it's going to be taped and then released later and edited.
I don't know. I was wondering that too.
No, it's not going to be live.
Yeah, it's not going to be live. So it's going to be, it's going to be recorded and they're going to edit it up and then it's going to come out. So it'll probably come out the following week. So, but stay on the Lapeef social media, stay on the Instagram page, because there'll be like little thing, like stuff that's just going on will probably be on the Instagram. So you guys can watch the stories and watch some of the posts there to see like how things are going or whatever. But the actual show, the live show, won't be live. It will, it'll be live for the people that are in the building, but it'll be online about a week after. So I know y'all gonna be able to see it. Did I end up seeing Marlon? I did end up seeing Marlon, but I missed the whole show. I didn't get to see any of the show. I didn't get no pictures. I had to rush and see him because it was over by the time I got there. It was a lot, but yeah, anyway. Any other questions? Anything else? I shouldn't be answering questions if y'all don't super chat. Hold on.
Oh, there's a super chat.
Read it.
Let's see. In retrospect to Courtney's outburst to Logic, Kayla, do you have anything nice to say about Black men and Black relationships? Undertones seem negative.
Of course, I have great things to say about Black men and Black relationships. My father is an amazing Black man, and so is my stepfather. My brother is an amazing Black man. All the men, good deal of the men in my family are amazing Black men. I love how Black men are very protective. I love how Black men are very innovative, make a way out of no way, or at least the men in my life. So I'm not really sure what you mean by like undertones seem negative, because I believe that sometimes a lot of the men that speak in certain spaces, this space, sometimes every time they speak about women, the undertone is negative. So I'm not really relating to you on that point. If we had conversations about different things, then different things will be said. But like when we're having certain conversations, that's just how it goes sometimes when we're talking about critical things that are issues and the issues that we see, then that's what we're talking about. But I love Black men. Like I don't date anything but Black men. Definitely not procreating with nobody that's not Black, because I'm pro-Black. I love my HBCUs. I love everything Black. So.
And the funny thing is, because I watch the show every week as well, a lot of the brothers on the panel have a lot of negative undertones about Black men too. When all you do is talk about people in the hood and people stealing and killing, and people not being faithful and people doing this and people doing that and people not taking accountability, and all of those individuals you're talking about specifically are Black males, you also have issues and have undertones about Black men. I think a lot of the overt stuff that they talk about has to do with Black women or women in general. But if you read between the lines, to me, it seems like they don't like anybody. It just seems like they don't like anybody Black.
Nobody's good enough, huh?
The whole implicit bias and just,
sometimes I think it revolves around resentment of some sort. And I also think that there are men that are jealous and they want to be bad bitches too. Like I've seen so many men that are like mad, like you women don't even have to have anything. You can go outside and you can get stuff for free. And it's just like, why are you whining? I don't get it. So if you want to be a baddie, you can be a baddie, but don't do the whole you want to be a leader, but you want to be a baddie. So that's all I'm saying. But yeah. So that's just my opinion. I feel strongly about that, because the ones that swear they want to lead and blah, blah, blah is always crying 50-50. I don't want no woman that don't got nothing going on. I'm not about to pay for no woman that blah, 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 blah. But then they want to be like, you need to do what I say. And it's like, what? Like, it's totally different, like following leadership of good direction. But even I think somebody posted in the group, light skin Keisha posted on her page something about, oh, if I'm out with my friends and my man call me, like I'm gone. Like what y'all don't get about that? Like if my man call me, I'm leaving. You know what I mean? And a lot of people were like, well, if you made plans with your friends to do something specifically, and it's not an emergency and he's just at home chilling, what is this thing that says that you're submissive because you get up and go and leave your friends hanging when you made plans? You know what I'm saying? Like, if we made plans and we're sharing an Uber and then you talk about you got to go, or we bought something, a section, you're supposed to split it all these ways and you talk about you got to leave, but we made these plans 2 weeks ago and your man at home just chilling talking about he wants you. You know what I'm saying? Like, there has to be some types of like.
See, but only certain men would just be at home doing nothing and call you home from, like if my man called me to come home, since that's not in his character, I would go because obviously there must be some good reason. So yeah, I don't think it's bad to go if if your man calls you. Because why would your man call you if maybe some men are like that.
That's what I said. I said somebody, that's what I said. I said, if he's a smart guy, he cares about you. Like, why would he be like, oh yeah, tonight's the night that you said you was going out with your friend for her birthday. Y'all got a table, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? I'm watching Netflix and I want you here. So I'm about to call you and tell you need to come home. Like, are men doing that?
I don't know any men that do that.
Yeah, that seems like I don't think, yeah. That's why I said it would be probably a good reason. Like, if it's that urgent, if it's just like come home, I'm gonna say okay.
Most of the men I know are like, have fun. You want to stay 2 days, 3?
Because if the tables were turned and the table was turned and your man was out doing something with his fraternity brothers that they planned or whatever, and you called and you were just at home just wanting attention, I'm guaranteeing you he's feeling some type of way. Because like what? Especially if we live together, it's like, girl, I mean, I thought most men would feel like it was rude as well if their woman did that. You know what I mean? And then
if it's just for nothing, like, hey, just hand me the remote. Like, you walk in the door, like it's just for no reason. But why would it be for no reason? I don't know. I can't see that being just something that happens normally where unless they're in like a relationship where the person is very possessive or they do that type of stuff all the time. If it's like this is the first time that has happened, I can understand getting up and going right away because there must be some reason.
There has to be some reason, you know what I mean? It's like not just he's just like, I'm watching Netflix and I want you here. Like, there's something going on, and that's to be respected. But I think that some people confuse like the relationship and submission and blah 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 with like normal courtesy. Yeah, normal courtesy, boundaries.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that's just rude to, but if it was for any other reason, like I have no issue. Like, he needs me, something happens, he needs me. That's totally a different conversation. But yeah, I just saw that on the story and I was just like, why are so many people, there was like so many people like opposite spectrum. Like there were women on there saying like, yep, I'm gone, see y'all. Like my man called, I'm leaving. And then there were people on the other side that were just like, well, what? Stay home, sis. Like, if this is what you're going to do every time we go out, just stay home. Like, if you leave in the middle of whatever we have going on, we ain't even ordered dinner and you got to leave, girl, just stay home. Like, so I don't know. That was interesting. But,
are we letting the last caller in?
No, we don't have any time for any more callers. Unfortunately, we've reached our max. We have 9 minutes. Because remember, we have a show to do on Thursday and another show to do on Saturday. This is a packed week, people. So, gotta get our beauty rest and get prepared for this intense week. Because I guarantee we get no sleep this weekend. No sleep at all. And then you guys have to pull up on Thursday for Let's Talk because we're going to be talking about what's going to happen this weekend. And that's going to be very interesting. I can't wait to see. I want to know what Logic thinks about, our plan for him.
You and let me know what happens in Houston, Kayla. And, let me know if you find any people for the love of Logic. And
I'm going to find some. I got to get ones that don't got social media, don't have cleavage out, willing to move to Washington, D.C., and willing to cook. Yep. It's going to be a feat, but I think I can get it. I think I can do it. Texas is a southern place, so I should be able to find some southern belles that want to cook and clean.
Can we talk for 2 seconds about the criminal justice system?
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Yes. Yes. Jonathan, yes. Let's talk about that for a quick minute. Go ahead, because I already think I know.
Okay. Because I was yelling at the phone last week because of that conversation all the way at the end. Kayla, you were gone. Around the criminal justice system, you know, and like policing and things like that. And I just wanted to say that the criminal justice system is bigger than policing.
Yes.
It involves so many different parts, so many interworking like layers and historical context. Because I think somebody said, like, why does history matter? One pro tip, by the way, if anyone talks about like groups of people and don't include historical context in their analysis, that is the telltale sign of a person who doesn't know what they're talking about. I just want to say that, right? First and foremost, because like I think there's this idea that because certain people don't know anybody that have answers to questions, then that means that there's no answers to the questions.
Exactly.
And all that really means is that you just don't know anybody who has the answers, right? So like, you know, that whole conversation around, you know, the criminal justice system, what it is, and policing, right, and the assumptions made about the criminality or the propensity to violence of Black people, to me was just appalling and honestly pretty offensive, you know. So
yeah, I know I had left. I low key was like, thank God, because he probably would have got like another side of me. I just felt like the whole show was just like, Black people are awful. Black people are awful. White people are great. And I meant what I said when I said, you're not over there. They don't want you over there. Stop.
And that's one thing about, you know, one thing that we can say though about like not white people individually, but white folks generally, is that you have a people that historically have raped, pillaged, killed, maimed. But but they don't get up on social media and say we're horrible and we're monsters. They say we're the greatest people on the planet. My question is, why do we do that when somebody who's hungry goes into a liquor store to go steal something? Why do we then go and say all Black people are this way? I'm just concerned about that. And then if we know that people control it, like white folks control media, right? Why would you think that there aren't as many, like, I guess, negative media representations of white folks who are criminals, even though the majority of folks in prison are white, right? Even though white people do drugs at the same rate as Black folk.
Yep.
Even though white folk kill folk at the same rate as Black folk.
Yep.
You know, I just don't understand that. Maybe not the same rate, but the same number. You know, so like that was an issue. And then there's this issue around like 50% of Black folk, you know, are the ones that are committing murders. That's not true. It's 50% of murders committed and it's 43%, but you know, let's just say 50% of murders committed are committed by African Americans. But that's for many reasons, not because African Americans commit more murders.
And I feel like sometimes the bottom line people want to get to sometimes is just saying they want to say Black people are inherently just worse. Exactly. Like that's where all the arrows are pointing. Because then you keep asking clarifying questions and it's just like Black people this, Black people that. And it's like, what's the point of this? Is this what you're trying to say? Because like you said, nobody wants to talk about, not nobody, but you know what I mean, wants to talk about like the historical context or poverty or racist things that led up to certain situations or a lot of other things. You know, people don't want to talk about those, but it's like Black people do this and Black people do that. But then how could you just not want to look at any of the other factors or even correct statistics about what you're even talking about?
Because it's easier to do that, though. It's easier. And that's also what's been pushed to us for so many years. That whole, I mean, that became, when did that happen? When the five kids that everything happened in the park, whatever was that?
Oh, the exonerated 5.
Yeah. That's kind of when it was pushed in, like, I don't know, but that's when I saw it visibly pushed in the criminal justice system that Black people are innately violent. And that like it became like socially acceptable that these kids don't have a shed of scratches, blood, anything on them, but because they're Black, they're so violent, they're somehow that they could do such this violent crime and then go home and just be completely normal. You know what I mean?
And
It's
then
like
imagine carrying the torch on that narrative. Like, what? Like, I can't even imagine. No. Mm-mm.
And it's older than that. You know what I mean? There's culture of violence theory that was created in the 50s, right, by criminologists. A lot of this stuff, like a lot of our ideas about like who Black people are, find their root in academia. Like, so you can see literally like anthropologists talking about different sizes of Black skulls.
Yes.
And how folks are more prone to violence because of the size of their skull, or you know, more prone to violence because of their genealogy. All of these things are not new. Like,
no,
they go back
hundreds of years.
Yeah, we just repeat them like they're new,
and they just transform into different things, like different, you know, statements or in a different context. But these, it's just so just strange to see us like doing this to each other. And at this point, like, you know, the powers that be can kind of take their hands off of it and just let it happen, because we have people that are pushing it on each other. Like, I just, no. Mm-mm.
Somebody said, how can we advance if we can't even take accountability for the violent crime we commit? Nobody's saying don't take accountability for violent crime. People are saying be accurate about Black people and violent crime. We're not saying don't take accountability for it. And so if somebody said 0.0001, 5% of Black people commit murders each year, that's true. We got to do something about that. And we see that these murders are overrepresented in low-income urban communities. Okay, great. Let's talk about that. But you're not going to say Black males are violent. No, there's 20 million of us. You know, only 16,000 murders a year. Half of those are Black, so 8,000 murders. You just do the math and you'll get the result for how many people are doing things. Most Black people aren't doing things like that.
They're not.
The vast majority.
And we need to push that more. We need to put, like, I don't understand why we always push these small parts of it when in reality, majority of Black people are actually doing pretty decently, you know, upward mobility, trying to do the best that they can for their kids and their community. Black fathers are doing better than they've ever done. Marriages seem to have a little more substance. And like, at least the people I see marrying around my age seem very like it's real. You know, I don't know. I just feel like things are going better for us than they've ever gone. And yet a lot of the conversation is not reflective of that. And that's just so unfortunate.
And to me, and also, and I'll just say this is the last thing I'll say, but those brothers, you know, and sisters who are committing those violent crimes, you know, who are criminals, in my opinion, they're not disposable either. If you have somebody and they're 18 and they do something, you know, when their brain isn't fully developed, or 16 and they get tried as an adult, and now you're in prison for 35, 40 years, you know what I mean? And you get out and you're still treated a certain way. To me, that doesn't make sense. Like, if you actually want to solve an issue, you look at all of the factors that contribute to the issue, and then you figure out how to solve it from there. And so, is it lack of access to housing, food? Is it you need mental health support? Did you grow up in spaces and places with drug and alcohol abuse? Those things contribute to violence, not somebody's race or gender.
Exactly.
You know, and those folks are not disposable. They still can turn around and become, you know, upstanding members of society and things like that too. So, you know, that's
I totally agree. But it's also like our system doesn't necessarily promote that. I don't understand how somebody's supposed to spend 5 years in a box where they only see light for an hour a day, and then they're supposed to be able to leave that and come out here and be normal. It's actually like so bad for your mental health. So I don't know. It's just, there's so many things that we could talk about in terms of that. And another reason why, like, I live in Broward County now, but when I lived in Palm Beach County, ever since I moved to Broward, even though I barely live in Broward because I live on the line, I see way more police officers on a daily basis than I've seen ever living in Palm Beach County. And I'm just like, why? More Black people live in concentrated areas in Broward, and it is what it is. So that's what we're dealing with, right? And like, as long as we have conversations where we could, that are productive, that aren't lying and making up crap, and we could just be honest and factual, you know, maybe we can get somewhere.
And the conversations around the proactive steps that can be taken, I don't think they bring people as much joy as saying Black people are this way and Black people are that way. Like, people want to do that instead of talking about like the things that we can do to prevent some of these outcomes, or to kind of try to stand up in the face of adversity and like fight back against all these systems that are working against us, from education to healthcare to access to grocery stores. I mean, whatever the case may be, I think that some people would much rather say that Black people are, insert whatever negative adjective you want to use, instead of saying, okay, look, this is a situation that's going on. This is what we need to do. This is what I'm doing to, have my part of it done. But a lot of people think their part is saying Black people are this way and that's not that's not productive, in my opinion. It doesn't do anything. I think sometimes people get caught up in their feelings, their negative feelings that they might not even know that they have. Like, these ingrained negative feelings that some people have about their own race, they pop up sometimes, and it comes off as this passionate display of Black people are this whatever kind of way.
When in reality, they just internalize the negative things that have been said about us, and they now inherently think they are true about other people and themselves.
Exactly. And like, come on, like the vast majority of Black people are not committing crimes, like out here doing this and that. Like, the way some people talk, you would think you can't walk down the street. Like,
and it's really hard, because if you're going to be doing crime, why do people think that this is like some type of like, I'm gonna do that instead of working, like that requires no like skill? Being a criminal requires a good deal of skill. It is a career, just like other careers. It's just not a legal one, right? And that's the problem that I have, is that people will, I don't know, just do dumb things. And then it's like, did you think that this is just like, you didn't need to put any thought into this at all? Like, why wouldn't you? Even a friend of mine, he went to prison, not a friend of mine, but somebody I used to work with. He was one of my bus boys. And he was telling me about how he went to jail, whatever, for armed robbery. And I was like, well, why would you do it when the people were there? Why wouldn't you wait until they leave and then break in? Doesn't that make sense? You know what I'm saying? It's like, you not even, come on. Like,
Kayla's
that's like, I learned that in the movie. You case the house out, you watch, they're coming in the, like, you telling me that, like, you know what I'm saying? So like, I'm like, when people are even doing like dumb things like that, I'm like so concerned, because I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to figure that out. That was like the craziest thing that ever happened to me. I was just like, are you serious? Like, why would you not at least wait until they were there? Like, never mind.
I didn't know what to say about, because I'm like, wait, what?
No, I'm not promoting crime or anything like that. But what I'm saying is that, like, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just saying that, like, it's really unfortunate that people are sitting in boxes for dumb things. And there are white people that are roaming the streets free because they thought it through, right? That's all I'm saying. Like, there's lots of crime that goes on in America. America was founded by criminals. Y'all thought England sent them over here on a boat for exploration? No, she was actually trying to rid the city of all of the criminals and the thieves and those people to go somewhere else. And they came here and founded a land based on those same principles. That's why it's like, you know why majority of people that do crime get hemmed up? Because they don't file their taxes right, not because they're doing crime. Like 3/4 of the RICO cases are because people didn't do their taxes right, not because they even got caught up in any real on. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the system is kind of set up for people to like do whatever as long as you like tee the line, and you know, Caucasian people just do that, and it's like no big deal. But then Black people, it's just like Black people do all this crime and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, I know a lot of white people doing crime. Like, I don't know that. Whatever.
Yeah, I think it's because we don't control our own narrative, and because of that, you know, folks decide to give a narrative to us. But like you said, white folks do it too. Early unions. These were drug dealing white people. You know what I mean? Like motorcycle gangs. A lot of them folks, like you look at Sons of Anarchy or whatever. Like that's what these folks are doing.
The Ozarks.
Yeah, Ozark. a lot of low income, like white communities, you know, are ridden with crime and violence. But it's not because they're white; it's because of the access. Same as in Black communities, it's the same thing.
And let's not talk about the policies and legislation that leads to the death of many people every day all around the country, and also things that happen in other countries. People don't want to think about that because it seems far away, but it's a thing. Like it people are still dying. So, I mean, and
people said that in the chat, like, oh, that's not real. That's TV shows, blah, blah, blah. Like, and people are really,
when you're the one that makes the rules, you get to say, this is not a crime if we do this thing to this place, or this disenfranchise these people, or, you know, set it up so that education is unfair and inequitable. That isn't, when you make the rules, that's not a crime. But when you think about it, I mean, look at all the negative effects of these things. So like the thing we have to do as Black people and being proactive and all of that is concentrate on family structure, concentrate on education. Those are the two things that I would say are the most important. Parents, make sure y'all are really, really, really on top of your children's K-12 education. It's a big deal. It's not enough to just send your kid to school and be like, oh, the teacher's there. Then they come home and say, do your homework and then go to bed. Like, no, you have to be on top of it, because kids will fall through the cracks and they'll get more and more behind, and that will yank opportunities that they would have had right out of their hands, right under your nose. So these things are real and they're a big deal. And instead of saying Black people are bad, let's figure out what needs to happen so that we can change even that narrative amongst each other. Like, because until we stop hating ourselves and each other, there are going to be problems. And this was all purposeful. It's all programming. I'm not sure. I think, Jonathan, maybe you said something about it. I don't know who said it, but somebody said something about programming, or these concepts being old. That's what you were talking about. Like, these aren't new. And we know this. And people on a subconscious level, like, people aren't even aware that they just cannot stand the sight of a fellow Black person. Some people are not aware that they feel that way, but they do. And that's dangerous, because then you're spreading this mindset when, like we said before, vast majority of Black people are not committing crimes.
Wow.
But you feel unsafe just because somebody is Black. You feel like other people should feel unsafe, because then guess what? If a Black man gets killed by the police, people are going to say, they're not going to think, they're going to be like, well, what was he doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, it numbs people. Like, these mindsets over time, they chip away until you are desensitized to things happening to Black people. And then you come to a point where you're like, it's their fault. Like, what? So it's just really sad to see, like, very racist ideologies being shared by fellow Black people about Black people. And that's, like you said, Jonathan, not saying don't, you know, take accountability or whatever, But really, is saying Black people are this way or that way taking accountability? Or is that just categorizing all Black people by a small group of Black people when we look at the numbers?
It's easier to do it that way. For some people, it's just easier that way. Then we are probably the most diverse people that there are, but it's easier to just go ahead and group us together. And then also when you said like there are people that are scared of Black people, it's like my ex was super scared of white people. Like he's just like, they don't mind their business. And before you know it, somebody is like causing a problem or, you know, in your business about what you doing. And it's just like, he would be like, it would be like little things like maybe we were in the car enjoying some like libations, right? And he would just be like, I don't like, you know, a white person will walk by, he's like, you know, and I'm just like, what? Like, but he's like, they're dangerous. And I'm like, you're right. They are. For him as a Black man, he feels like they're dangerous to him because they can make any situation dangerous.
Yeah, you never know what's gonna happen. Yeah.
Just saying, like you could just literally be barbecuing and then now there's a dangerous situation, you know? So I don't know. I just want us to get it together. I want us to love on each other. I want us to have Black community, have Black family. I want us to do all of that. But we have to trust each other. We have to try to find mutual ground. We have to work together, combine our assets and our resources. And I know all people always make comments about like Hispanic people. And that's one thing I admire about their community. Living in Florida, you know how many I've seen in them live in one house and they support this person getting a house and then they support the next person getting a house and the next person and they just trust each other. You know, I don't know. They're, you know, they're not the standard or anything, but we obviously see that in their community, you know, how they band together and like, I want that for us.
Yeah, I think even if you don't agree, I think then just to me it's just like then change your lingo. If you're Black and you think Black culture is trash, just don't say Black culture is trash. Just say my culture, because I just want you to own it. So you can just because oftentimes I think like sometimes Black people talk about Black people as if they're not Black, or as if they're like the exception. I live outside of us, you know, so I can go in and then talk about us. No, so just say my culture is trash, you know. My women aren't getting married. You know, like own it. I would actually feel better about it if they said that. I still won't agree with you, but I feel better about it if you said that because at least you're saying you're one of us. You know?
Yeah. People who want to not identify, oh, we're not all the same, blah, blah, blah. Right. Like those people are so sad to me because they'll get into a situation and they'll think they're different and they don't see us different. They see us all the same.
The same.
Even you people in your Gucci sweatsuits, they see y'all the same way as they see the people in the Walmart sweatsuits. A Black person, danger, you know, overly aggressive or whatever it can be. So that's the most frustrating part about it. But I do think that like we also have an issue with keeping things close knit. We always want to let white people into our shit, and that's a problem. Why? But we have those non-pro Black people that feel like that's necessary. That like I want to be a part of the Black community, blah blah blah. But you know, I'm going to marry a white girl, and I'm going to bring a bunch of white people here, and I'm just like, but what? Like, I don't know. Like I said, there are some white people that are very dangerous, and I'm glad that well, never mind. I'm not even going to talk about that because that'll take us down a whole nother path. But I was just going to speak about a politician that had been doing some awful things, and he finally got convicted, and you know, they did something about it. But it took 3 Black men passing away for that to finally be a thing. But it's kind of crazy how 2 Black men end up deceased in your house and nothing happens. You know what I'm saying? Like these things are crazy. These people are dangerous. But yeah, anyway, I'll leave it at that. It's been great, guys. What do y'all think? What should I wear on Saturday?
The switching of topics just so sharply.
I'm trying to lighten it up because that stuff is very deep. It's very real and it's very deep and it's a little tragic, but it's the life we live. So just trying to lighten it up, trying to figure out, what do y'all think Logic will wear? Do you think he'll wear his homeboys stuff?
I cannot with
like
you and Logic.
I feel like Logic and Anton are going to look like the same person, but I feel like Rilla will look different, and I feel like JR will look different. So they're not going to all look like the same person on Saturday.
JR is like very stylish, so like
yes, he is.
I'm pretty sure he's going to be different
He
from
fly. So
everybody.
I'm excited to see what he wears, but it's for a fact Anton Logic don't look like the same person.
You said for a fact. They should wear the same thing.
Is that you, Kayla, that was on last week and they're like, y'all look the same every week? I was done.
They do look like the same person. Like their shows that they have looked like the exact same person, all four of them. But Rilla always stands out because he can't grow enough hair. But there is a lot of times where they look like the same nigga. I swear.
Maybe you should wear red.
Red?
Or orange.
I was gonna wear white.
Yeah, like something that will really pop.
I was gonna wear a white blazer dress.
So, yeah, the white looks good on you.
Cute, but like still like kind of professional, but still cute,
Mm-hmm.
And some cute little heels. But yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. Courtney will be there. Q will be there. Rilla said he's gonna be giving shoulders upon his entrance on the stage, so y'all gotta stay tuned for that. It's gonna be crazy.
Chicago likes to dance. I've seen him post some videos like dancing and stuff.
Yeah. No, we already said at the after party we're gonna have a whole dance battle. Y'all stay tuned to the Lapeef Instagram. Follow the Instagram, share the Instagram around, watch the stories this weekend. It's going to be crazy. But yes, thank you. Oh, I love y'all. Thank y'all in the comments. I am going to be slaying. My makeup artist is doing my makeup 2 hours before the show. Everything is going to be on point. It's all going to be on point. So
yeah, I can't wait to see what you wear. Actually, Kayla, I know you are going to look like you just about to go to the Grammys or something.
Yeah, me and Jay are going to win best dressed for sure. I feel like he's going to be male best dressed. I'm going to be female best dressed, and then like we are going to show out. I'm excited to take pictures with all of our supporters that come out on the red carpet. I would love to take pictures with you guys, meet and greet with you guys. It's gonna be fun. There will be security though, so just tread lightly. Don't get any ideas because it won't be good for you. But come with a positive, open mind and just have fun. That's what we're there for. But just had to put that out there in case, I'm not playing. So, yeah.
Wow. Well, all right. Jonathan, thank you very much for coming on.
Yes.
Seriously, the Love of Logic show, you got to come back. And I think there's another topic, like I was reminded, Kayla, we're going to talk about it, later, of course, but the last little part we did just now, like there's a lot to unpack there. And yeah, you should come on that show too, Jonathan. I'll let you know.
Yeah. We like to switch it up here. We like to keep it spicy. The channel is really leaned towards relationships, but there are a lot of different things that impact relationships. And we want to talk about them. So I'm excited. Like I said, y'all, do not be anywhere else but here next Monday for the tea from this weekend, because I'm going to be spilling it all over next Monday. So make sure y'all here. It's going to be super fun. Again, there's 15 tickets left. I don't even know if there's still 15. They're probably less than that after we've been talking about it on the show tonight. So make sure you get your tickets and stay tuned close to your email for all the deets on the after party and the brunch. And we'll see you guys there. It's going to be fun. But we will see y'all on Thursday, of course.
Be sure to tune in.
Love you guys. See you
Bye,
next
y'all.
week right here on Lapeef Network.
This Chicago. This Chicago.
Y'all get y'all tickets. Get y'all tickets right now. Click that link that's pinned to the top of the chat. Get y'all tickets. Go ahead. Get your ticket. Get your tickets. Get your tickets.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate the support. Hit the like button on y'all way out. Hit that like button. Subscribe to